it's going to be some how the other side reacts to certain moments, say does not.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to KUMB TV's Eyes Up Mother Brown. We are back for a very special Christmas edition of the show. West Ham United at Arsenal this evening. Last game of the day, been a busy day in the Premier League. We haven't had a single home win yet today. So that doesn't bode particularly well for what lies ahead. I'm going to introduce some more of the crew, if you can just bear with me for just a moment here. Coming in on my right-hand side, right about now, is young Rio, who I'm going to be pulling over here. Rio, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm not too bad, mate. Thank you very much. Good to see everyone. I've been away for a bit.
Have you now? Where have you been? Anywhere nice?
No, I've been away from doing this for far.
Oh, you mean just... But it's been nice, right? Presumably having a break from us lot moaning and bagging on.
No, I've actually missed it. It's anything that's kept me sane. The thought of coming back and listening to some whinging in stereo sound.
I'm going to switch this over here. Bear with me a second. I'm going to put you on the right-hand side, Rio. No, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to put you in the middle tonight. I'm going to go over here on this side. Our Rio is going to take centre stage. And we are also joined tonight. You can hear him coughing in the background. There you go. A nice raspy wintertime cough from... I'll just pull Rio over here a second and just size him up into the right side of the screen. And Noam is also with us tonight. He's going to be very small for a moment, just down there. And,
what do you mean for a moment?
We've got Noam in the famous circle that we don't know how to get rid of. No idea why that's happening, but we might change that. We might put Noam in the middle in that case. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Not too bad, not too bad. Season's greetings to everybody.
Yes, indeed.
Rio's just got better looking.
There we go. We're gonna put you in the middle because you're. We still can't quite fathom out why we get this thing in the circle. We'll figure it out at some point, presumably when we're moving on to some superior software.
Better, isn't it?
But anyway, we're there. Should we do the teams, gentlemen? We're just about to kick off over at the Emirates. So, Noam, would you like to take us through it?
Just as well I dialed it up, then, isn't it? Really. Right. Okay. The home side lineup as follows this evening: goal Ramsdale. Then White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tierney, Odegaard, Partey, Saka, Nketiah, Martinelli. And West Ham United line up as follows: Fabianski, Soufal, Kehrer, Dawson, Cresswell, Souček, Rice, Bowen, Paqueta, Benrahma, and Antonio. And on the bench this evening we have Johnson, Fornals, Lanzini, Downs, Areola, Ogbonna, Coventry, Emerson, and Mubama. Referee is Michael Oliver this evening. We've had a minute's applause or so for the late George Cohen, who sadly passed away just before Christmas. One of the boys of '66. And look at the screen. We've had the toss, and looks like West Ham are to kick off. So, and awesome. We'll be attacking the goal to our left on the screen.
Excellent. Thank you, Noam. Thank you for that.
It's all going the way round.
It's confusing it. As you probably noticed, Noam's not in his usual spot tonight. Down in the depths of Hampshire this evening.
Yeah.
Hence why he's got his headphones on. Okay.
We're underway.
Yes, we are underway. Indeed. Amazon Prime showing tonight's game live. For those of you that subscribe to Amazon, you can get it for free on there if you're a subscriber. Rio, before the game came on, we had Aaron Cresswell talking to Amazon Prime, and he was saying that it's a big game. West Ham obviously not scoring enough, which has been the big problem so far this season. It's disappointing first half to the campaign. Should be a good atmosphere tonight, said usually is between these two clubs. And he hasn't seen much of the World Cup players since they came back. Rio, do you think there's going to be any sort of hangover there for the likes of Paqueta and Rice, given their exploits?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I actually think that both Piquet and Rice bowed out a little bit earlier than they would have liked to.
Yeah.
Just kept them ticking over, really. So I don't foresee any problems. And they're two of the classiest players we've got at the club. So, consummate professionals, they should be absolutely fine.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point you make about them bowing out a little bit earlier than hoped. We've just seen an interesting ball play through by West Ham that goalkeeper Ramsdale had to come out and get. We also just point out quickly, we just saw a lovely interception from Declan Rice. Broke play up on the edge of West Ham's box as Arsenal were looking a little bit dangerous. There it is. We're just seeing a replay now. Martinelli it was who went down. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I think they're trying to insinuate perhaps that it was a little bit over the top. But no, what did you make of Dec's performance out in the World Cup finals?
I thought he added a few zillion to his transfer fee. To be honest, I thought he had an excellent World Cup.
Yeah.
Not that these days anybody over the channel wouldn't have been aware of him, but I think the big boys sur le continent will be very interested. Interestingly, we just that challenge you mentioned. I don't know, can't remember who it was on. It might have been Martinelli there, but excellent challenge. Took the ball cleanly, and as we've seen at this ground many a time, Martinelli was rolling over in agony and stayed down in an attempt to win a free kick. Same as last season when we were here, by the way. Can we do a time check? Just as we're on, just sun over my head or behind or whatever. I've got 2 minutes, 35, 36, 37.
I'm slightly in front by about 5 seconds or so.
Okay, good. Okay.
And I'm on 54, 55, 56 at the moment. So by some kind of bizarre... Yeah, 303 I'm on now, the old road to Stonehenge.
So I'm kind of, which is just down the road from here, the A303. So I'm about 5 seconds behind both of you. So it'll be kind of a bit of a weird maximum wave, and you both go up, and then I go up a few seconds later.
It's the first time my Amazon deliveries have been on time. I'm probably ahead of
I'm just surprised they haven't left it outside the front door.
That's a sore subject, actually. The wife's one of the wife's birthday Christmas presents failed to turn up. It wasn't Amazon. Got to say, our Amazon drivers are fantastic. It was Every, who I understand are an absolute shower.
Can you bear with me, guys? I've got to go and start Coronation Street for me, Mum.
No worries. All right.
Hello, guys. Put the headphones on. Say hello to Rio and Graham. Sit there.
Yeah.
Until you.
Hello, guys.
Hello, darling. How are you? Are you well?
Oh, very well. Yeah.
Oh, you
Putting up
timed
with
that
this
well.
lot.
Arsenal just scored. I hate to say. The moment you've come on the stream, Arsenal have scored a goal. Has it been disallowed? Hang on, Rio, what's going on?
Tiger's gone up.
How can you have football if Coronation Street is on?
Well, hang on a second. Well, we can ask you the same question in reverse, I guess. But I hope you enjoy it anyway. I hope it's a good show. I haven't seen Coronation Street for years, but I hope you have a good one anyway. Oh, it's been disallowed. We're all right. We're okay, Mum. It's good. It's fine. The goal was disallowed, so we're all right. All right. Well, have a lovely show. Enjoy Coronation Street. I hope it's a good one. Good bit Christmas, right? It's going to be entertaining tonight. No doubt something's going to happen.
Right,
there you go.
You've probably got more decent insight into football in 3 seconds of Mum than you do with a season of me. Well, it's all up and running. It's playing now.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll let Rio explain what happened there, because I was kind of keeping an eye on Mrs. T. Make sure she's right. Rio, goal disallowed for Arsenal.
Hi.
Yeah, I did get slightly distracted by but yeah, the ball in between the left back and centre back caught us out. I think Saka
That's mine, man.
was the one who put the ball through. But thankfully disallowed goal. And how's Weatherfield? You're thrown then.
Mum, it's playing now. You're missing it. Go on.
Okay.
5th minute anyway, that Arsenal chance. Disallowed. West Ham, of course, haven't had a good record. in the opening matches in recent months. And of course, that carried over. No, did it not? In the mid-season friendlies a bit. I think we were behind against. We were behind against Cambridge. We were certainly behind against Udinese and Fulham.
Weren't we? Yeah, all three.
It was, yeah, I think so. That particular issue certainly not being resolved during the break.
Yeah. So obviously, because I was dealing with important matters, I was unable to see the disallowed goal, which so typical, isn't it? How can I get Coronation Street on the Sky Plus?
If it's any consolation, I think that's why Alan Cresswell got caught out himself.
You're probably watching Coronation Street, yeah.
Probably got a call to his missus or something. You know, how do I take it?
Anyway, we're 7 minutes in. It's still 0-0. Fortunately for West Ham,
we thought embarrassing.
We were a goal behind, but we're not. We're about to be joined by fourth. Well, hang on. Let's just have a look. Jared Bowen breaking on the right hand side. Can he get it in? I nearly said Thomas Repka then. Where's that one come from? Good Lord. Soufal, of course. Vladimir Soufal. Trying to get across him, but loses the ball. And Arsenal breaking down the left hand side. This could be dangerous for West Ham. We'll just keep an eye on this one before we get young Nick in, and that's going to be a free kick after a pretty late challenge by Jared Bowen. He doesn't seem to agree, but anyway, free kick and a yellow card. Oh dear, there you go. Michael Oliver showing a yellow card to Jared Bowen, lunging in a bit. I'm not sure he took the ball. Don't think he's got much of an argument there, chaps. What do we reckon?
He's definitely caught Martinelli there. I mean, he's obviously gone down like an absolute sack of spuds because he excels at that, Martinelli.
He just got the ball, but he just caught him afterwards. And yeah. But it's usual. I mean, you remember last year when Soufal got 2 yellow cards for precisely 0 yellow card offences, and Lacazette was down like he was in agony, wasn't he? He was they were saying prayers in Lourdes for him, and then once the red card appeared, he got up and took the penalty, which Fabianski saved. So. Yeah, I'll let you do commentary then because you're ahead of me. But
if there's nothing really to report, it didn't come to anything. The free kick, fortunately, Arsenal are still in possession. Well, we are joined by member number. Well, hang on, let's just wait. We'll give him a proper introduction in a minute. But it looks like Declan Rice has managed to get the ball away. And anyway, Arsenal still have the ball. It hasn't been good. Nick, good to see you, buddy. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm good. Everyone good? Sorry, I'm late.
No, you're okay. Good to see you. Yeah, I'm okay, mate. I'm good. You've just missed the us trying to get Mrs. T's Coronation Street up and running, which is actually the highlight of the game so far. Yeah, apart from that, it's an early disallowed goal, as you've probably seen, or disallowed effort by Arsenal. Why can't I resize you here? Hang on, I'm pushing the wrong buttons. And so. How was I should ask you, gentlemen, how was Christmas? Nick, I'll start with you first, as you've just come in. How did you get on?
It's been all right, yeah. Overate yesterday, haven't overeaten today. Totally sober all weekend, so yeah, it's all good.
Excellent.
And I've got one of my Christmas presents on. There we go.
No, that's the next question. Hang on, we're looking at Arsenal. Breaking into the box. Let's see what happens here. Cross has come in. Nothing happened. Dawson with a header, out we go. West Ham presence. We'll do that one. Let me just write that down for later. That'll be one of our topics of discussion. Rio, how was Christmas for you, buddy?
Nice and quiet. It's exactly how I like it. Just me, the wife, and the kids. So yeah, just exactly how I wanted it.
Quite right too.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
I too am wearing a Christmas present. So.
Always the best ones, the quiet one. No, how was Christmas for you, buddy?
Yeah, obviously a bit different this year. What been first since Dad went. So, but we went over to the other brother. Jeff will probably come in and say hello in a minute. But we went over to the other brother who lives about half an hour's drive from here and stayed over there yesterday. Brother's a very good cook, so we had lovely. We throw a family tradition is to barbecue the turkey. So Brad was up at 9 o'clock and sorry, we're on the attack here.
Going for the hammers.
Oh, that could have been an own goal. Cross came in from our right as it all goes down because of a free kick. But just have a look now. Bowen puts the cross across. And, I thought the defender had got a foot on that, but didn't. But Ramsdale sort of just cut it out, and they cleared it. So so we're over at the Brothers. Lots of presents, lots of stuff, lots of food. I've been very dry today because I had to drive back. So cheers, everyone. Here's me first of the day today. Oops, there we go.
Well, I hope you enjoy it, mate. As Noam was alluding to there, Jared Bowen getting down the right hand side, putting a low cross over, looking for Antonio. Who's actually through now. This is a good chance for Antonio. Gets into the box, but unfortunately, his final touch lets him down, which might be the story of his career at West Ham, unfortunately. But better from West Ham, looking enterprising. Right, yes. I mean,
that looked a bit difficult to control, that one.
Yeah, certainly wasn't the easiest. He's got some snazzy old boots on there, isn't he? I wonder if he got bought them for Christmas. Kind of like not rainbow laces, but rainbow boots. I've never seen those before. If anyone knows who manufactures those boots, or whether they're maybe a one-off just for Antonio, do let us know in the comments. Chaps, we should say hello to our readers. We've not our listeners and viewers. We've got to say hello. Billy Palmer, Hobo, Marky Pierce, Mandy. G 18sex.xyz, who was rapidly booted out of the of the chat. Craven and
that's not my mum, is it?
I knew I recognised that name from somewhere. And Tim from across the pond.
Oh, good save, Fabianski.
And everyone else joining us. Good to have you on the stream, guys. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Let us know. I'm just going to ask the team what West Ham inspired gifts they might have got for Christmas. Nick's already kicked us off with that very, very smart and dapper looking hoodie, I suppose you'd say, wouldn't you, Nick?
It is a hoodie. It is a hoodie. It has replaced my other blue hoodie that gets worn all too often and it's gone frayed. So, yeah, I've still got a claret one that's seen better days as well. But, well. I'll have to wait for next Christmas for that one. And I got socks, West Ham socks, West Ham wash bag, West Ham diary, something else to do with West Ham pen. My in-laws, I think, had something going on at the lakeside shop, I think, because that seemed like me brother and sister-in-law, because that seems to be all they bought me is West Ham related gifts this year. And a little shout out to me brother-in-law, actually, because he's also a Hammer. So lives in Medway, born and bred in Wickford.
Good lad. That's going to take some beating, I reckon. Nick, Rio, what about you? Any West Ham inspired Christmas gifts for you this Yuletide?
Nothing directly West Ham related. Just this shirt though, that my son bought because he had a massive admiration for Pedro Obiang. So he got an SS Calcio, the centenary shirt from just like when Pedro joined them. So that's about the nearest link I've got to West Ham gifts this year.
I was trying to work out what it was. I thought it might be an old New York Cosmos shirt from the original MLS, but no, there you go. SS Calcio. Good stuff. It's nice, actually. I like that. Noam, how about yourself? Any West Ham inspired clobber or
not any club. The beloved bought me a claret hoodie, not actually West Ham as such, but it was claret. And also as a stocking filler, as a bit of a giggle, the kids West Ham United annual, which a friend Rob Pritchard had a hand in doing. But it's sort of aimed at some slightly below my age group, I think. But and I did one year. My beloved sister bought me a West Ham quiz book, and it was one of those that I already had because we'd been sent a copy and asked to make a comment about it. And so this quiz book arrived, and she says, "Oh, have you got a copy of it?" I said, "Got a copy of it." Turn at the back where it's got all the comments, and I'm in it.
Excellent. I got a couple of bits actually. I got some West Ham socks, which was nice. I got a West Ham. What are those elf things that the kids have? I've got a West Ham one, which is quite funny. He's on the tree now. And we also got a West Ham bauble, which I was very, very pleased with from our neighbours who.
I still have one of the old. I've only got one left. We had a packet of 6, and I've got. I posted it on my Facebook actually. It's my cover photo. It's the only one remaining with the old crest on it. We had 6, and there's now only one left.
What happened to them? Did they get broken or just misplaced?
Yeah, just over the years. I think the cats knocked them off. Isaac's eating them and stuff like that. So they've gradually, over the years, down to just one last standing, which is sad.
Well, It's not bad going though. They're probably a rarity now, I'd imagine, with the old crest on.
Yes.
These days, probably worth a few bob. But anyway,
Yeah,
let
thanks
us
for
know.
that. But then they're all broke.
Well,
Can you are you able to show images on here?
you can, yeah. If you do share, there's a share option. I don't know if only I can do it as the main streamer, or whether you guys can do it. But at the bottom of your screen, if you're on a PC or a laptop, there should be a share option, which I think you can use.
Host disabled participant sharing.
Oh, is it? Okay. I have no idea how I did that, or even that I had done. But
I will send you it on the Book of Faces. Hang on.
yes, yeah, fire it over, mate, and I'll put it on. Arsenal breaking down the right hand side. Saka with the ball. West Ham still on the cost. He's got into the area, but Declan Rice again comes across, nicks the ball off his England teammate, and West Ham look to get the ball out. 17 minutes gone. Arsenal 0, West Ham 0. Let us know, ladies and gents, what you got for Christmas. West Ham inspired gifts. Actually, let us know what else you got for Christmas. If you've got anything that you really enjoyed, let us know. Nick, I've got to point this out. Mark Pierce, in reference to your rather splendid hoodie.
I've seen that. I chose to ignore it. So,
in which case I shall too. But
I'll tell you one thing I did get, which was I'd mentioned this whiles ago. We were talking about Christmases past, and I said, "Oh, when I was a kid, I always wanted." You remember Spirograph?
Yes, I do.
Guess what Lou managed to find for me? If I go that way.
A Spirograph by chance.
I mentioned I always wanted one as a kid, and Lou, bless him, managed to pick one out. So
is it a new one, or is it like an eBay?
No, it's a new one. It's a new one.
Okay,
it's in a
so
tin box. Yeah. So I also got a fridge magnet with the advertising a thing called a Johnny Astro, which was something I had as a kid, which was you had this sort of lunar surface, and you had a balloon, and like once you got it all wired up, a fan, and you had to land the balloon on the lunar surface, blowing it over there, and it was it's great. Kids today don't know they're born.
We seem to be victims of the spammers tonight. I'm busy hiding some people trying to post dodgy links on our stream. Apologies for this, ladies and gentlemen.
Seeing some of the people that are on there, you don't need to apologise. They're going to be clicking it and frantically.
Arsenal just broken down the right again. Low ball come across Aaron Cresswell, did really, really well to intercept it, and it's gone out for a corner, which Saka's just about to take. And Lucas Fabianski punches it away. Heading back in. Looks like the free kick's been given to West Ham by Michael Oliver. We are 19 minutes in, still goal. Should we have a look and see what what have we got here? Nothing specific, says Steve Palmer. No one else. Let us know. Come on, wake up, folks. Let us know what you got for Christmas. We want to know. We're interested. Gentlemen, Nick, what else did you get for Christmas? Anything notable? Anything that you're really happy with?
Yes, I got a big cat photography experience.
Oh, now I saw this on your Facebook. Explain what that is and why it's so excellent for you particularly.
Oh, because I can take photos of big cats.
There you go.
It's and it's also you get put into a special viewing platform at Colchester Zoo inside the actual enclosures of the big cat, so you haven't got to shoot them through glass and stuff, and it covers the whole enclosure, so you don't have to. Yeah, there's going to be no reflections and stuff like that, so it's
awesome.
Hopefully going to be lovely. And you also get to go in other enclosures and shoot things like, not literally shoot them because that would be cool, but things like meerkats and lemurs and whatnot. So yeah, it's a little safari type doodah in Colchester.
Yeah, well, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I will come back to that in a second because there's no just pointing out the West Ham corner. Aaron Cresswell's going to swing it in from the left-hand side. We'll just stick with this for a second. West Ham's first corner of the game. Cresswell takes it, drives it low, looking for Lucas Paqueta. Lucas Paqueta's claiming a handball there. Oliver's not having any of it, and it's actually gone out for another corner for West Ham. Better. From the Hammers. Let's have another look at this to see if there's anything in it. Let's say it was a low driven cross. It's come off the arm. I think not sure who it was actually. It wasn't Martinelli, was it?
It's Odegaard, I think.
Odegaard, sorry, thank you, Rio. but nothing doing. And Cresswell takes the second corner of West Ham. This time it's a bit different. Near post, doesn't clear the front. Comes to side Benrahma, gets a shot in, gets a shot away, but it's easy for Ramsdale with Benrahma trying to curl it into the far post. Have they still got that white tiger, Nick, at Colchester Zoo?
I've got no idea. I guess I'll find out once I've booked my
Well,
feet.
let us know. They used to have. He used to sit on top of his cage and growling at everybody.
Also,
looking most frightened.
tickets to see Frankie Boyle in Folkestone. I just hope that his live show's no longer as tame as his TV shows, because he does seem to have. I've seen him before, and his live shows are so far across the line, it's unbelievable. But his TV shows, he seems to have gone. What's the word? I suppose can't really describe Frankie Boyle as woke, but by comparison to what he's normally like, he's gone woke. So I'm hoping that he's still much like Jimmy Carr. His live shows are fantastic. So I'm hoping that when I go to Folkestone in April, that he's on form, because I think he's hilarious.
There you go, Frankie Boyle tickets and a big cat shooting experience, not with guns, for Nick. Rio, how about you, buddy?
Actually, mentioning Odegaard of Arsenal, I've got plenty of kind of deodorants and smellies and stuff like that, because I go through it like a dose of salt. So I'm really happy with that. A couple of nice t-shirts. Well, I can't remember what else. Yeah, but I will.
Palmer,
I'm getting reminded that this is what I actually got, because I'm 24 hours and I'm done.
It's great getting old. Arsenal get the ball in the box. Oh, and Odegaard's actually just nicked in front of Fabianski. Had to come down from Saka.
Online dating coming up in the chat. It's nice.
Have we got another one?
Yeah,
They're persistent tonight, aren't they? These guys. It's the same mob again. No, never word with Mum. She's all over the chat tonight. Terrible.
you tell her.
No, absolutely not. No, what about yourself? What did you get for Christmas? Anything? I mean, you've said obviously the spirograph, but anything else that you were particularly pleased with?
It was because we were sort of keeping it relatively low key this year. So I got a few bits and pieces. I got some lovely stuff from the beloved, some nice cufflinks with a personal but private message on them, and
Big boy.
well, you know, but one doesn't like to boast, but yeah. But and some CDs and including the No,
West Ham, we've got a penalty. Oh, we've got a penalty.
Oh, get in.
Oh, yes.
Sorry,
Penalty at the Emirates. Good Lord.
Sorry to cut in there, Noam, but
yeah,
West Ham
no, please
right
do.
outside
As I say, you're ahead of me.
Yeah, it was Mickey Antonio who cut the ball inside, I think, Rio. And Jared Bowen, was it handball? No, he's definitely onside. The ball's played through to Mickey Antonio, looks inside, little ball into Jared Bowen, who gets into the box. And I'm not quite sure why that's. Is it? What are we making? Handball, perhaps?
I'm trying to have a look at it now.
Look, it brings him down. Just in the replay now. Yeah, training foot tackle there by Saliba, and he's caught him on the way through. So absolutely nailed on pin. That been down there.
It just lifted his leg there. Look. Oh, he's taken him out. Yeah. Caught him with his two knees. And
I'm glad you two are convinced about it, because I'm not sure there's much contact there.
Oh, he went through him like a ton of salt. Those are salts, you know.
Yeah, I ain't entirely sure this is going to survive VAR, you know.
I'm not sure if Bowen doesn't just go down under his own steam there. I don't. Well, I mean, it's got to be, if VAR we're going to rule it out, it's got to be very, very clear. I'm not sure it's clear either way. Nick, what are your thoughts there?
I think VAR are going to blow
his
this
knee
out.
seems to take his left ankle.
Right.
That angle that we've just seen, what I've just seen anyway, the last one. It looked like the knee came through.
Confirmed. Blimey.
Yep. Sorry, Benrahma stepping up to the plate, thankfully.
Here we go.
Do you know what? I genuinely thought they were going to overrule it, because I don't think there was much in it.
It's the knee on Bowen's left foot, I think, is the contact point.
I think what we can all agree on is it's a pretty reckless challenge. Rio pointed it out. I think you said it was a training ground challenge from Saliba, but really unnecessary in the circumstances. I mean, there was cover there. But anyway, Said Benrahma's about to step up and see if he can put West Ham ahead here at the Emirates. 26 minutes exactly on the clock. Said Benrahma looking down, calm, composed, collective. Lots of boos and jeers coming from the crowd. Steps up, takes it, goal. 1-0. West Ham, come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
I'll watch it now then, shall I?
There he is. Said Benrahma.
That was a penalty and a half, and always been taking lessons from Noble.
The celebrations are out. That's old. Great penalty, Rio. Took it well enough. No problems.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's be honest, since he's taken over duties, he's looked really sharp on his penalty taking. After Bowen missing, Rice missing, and we've had trouble, he looked very assured. And I'm far more confident when he steps up to the plate than anyone else at the moment. Good penalty, absolutely needed. You know, it's not been a happy hunting ground, the Emirates, over the last few years. And we desperately need any help we can get. And they're just having the Saliba challenge again. Yeah, he's definitely caught him the way through. It may look like Owen's kind of gone down theatrically, but I think because of the pace he was moving, and there was no reason for him to actually go down.
It's the knee on the left foot. I've just seen it again. Yeah.
There's no reason for him to go down at all. So he's stayed on his feet with a really good chance there.
I'll make you absolutely right. Having seen that that replay from that angle, I think it's clear contact made. And kudos to Michael Oliver for giving it, because I think you would have seen a lot of referees maybe bottle that in the circumstances. So credit where it's due, I guess. And West Ham United lead at Arsenal, 1-0 to the Hammers after 28 minutes. So it must be Christmas, chaps.
Yeah, it is. It's wake them up now, isn't it?
Well, yeah. So I mean, West Ham are looking good, actually. So to be fair, I mean, they've not had that many clear-cut chances, have they? They obviously had the goal disallowed after 5 minutes, or the effort disallowed after 5 minutes. There was the other chance for Odegaard, but West Ham breaking again on the right. Unfortunately, Jarrod Bowen's fallen over. But yeah, it's good. Did anyone fancy us for a win here tonight? Before, honestly, before do I need to ask?
This is the first trip to the Emirates I've missed. I can't say I was gutted about it, to be honest, because I just thought we was on absolute hard or nothing.
Yeah.
I may have a small wager on us to win, but there again, I may not. I'm not going to say now. So.
Okay. Anyway, the Arsenal fans making a bit of noise for the first time since about 1952, trying to get their team going at the stadium there. So that's nice to hear. We did get a message actually. Pinky, one of the team, and I'm sure you all know, sent us a message just before kickoff to say it was almost empty at the stadium. And it looks like it's packed out a little bit more now, but he was very surprised at how few people were in there. I've got to say, it looks like there's a pretty good crowd in there now, but no doubt all those Hammers who've braved the conditions. The trains are down, chaps, aren't they, tonight?
Yeah. It's I think, today's strike yesterday was just not running, and today's strike day. So there are there's similar issues on Friday for the game against Brentford. I'm trying to watch this on two screens. One's a bit more up to date than the other. That's also quite why my laptop is behind everything. I've no idea. I may even try my mum's laptop in a minute, see how that goes.
Well, we are half an hour in one, and no fiddles with his buttons. We can,
again,
as you do. We're a third of the way through the game. West Ham leading here at the Emirates by that Said Benrahma penalty. Good decision, Michael Oliver. Bowen definitely tripped. Didn't throw himself down theatrically, that I'm sure you might have seen occur at the other end if it had happened. Tried to start, but
Bowen actually tried to stay on his feet as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Refreshing. Yeah. I mean, it's it was only once he finally gone down that he got up and complained, but Oliver was way ahead of him. So
Steve Palmer predicted a 3-1 win. Apparently, I'd have to go right back to the top. But nice to see. Good to see. I mean, the way you know, everything I've been reading on social media before the game. Actually, you did, Steve. I'm just saying it. Mandy went for 1-1. Mark Pierce went for 2 undefeated. So yeah, everyone predicting. Oh, you guys all predicting we'd score anyway. So we've got that. But I mean, it was just like such bad doom and gloom everywhere on social media, Rio. You know, people. It's almost like people. What do you make of this thing with David Moyes? I mean, I'm sure I'm wrong, but it just strikes me there's a lot of people almost willing him to fail. And you know, there's lots of talk about this next 2 or 3 games being instrumental in the board's decision as to whether you know, stick with him for the rest of the season. What do you make of that? I mean, we don't help ourselves sometimes, do we? The West Ham fan base.
I mean, I think it's indicative of modern football, though, isn't it? If you go 2 or 3 games without a result, the pressure via social media and people don't actually go to games, having a really good big say about things and voicing their opinions on stuff they really don't know about fully. It's just indicative of modern football. And I think because we've been on such a poor run, there are various reasons for that. Obviously, the turnover of personnel hasn't helped. A few injuries. It's not been ideal. But you would have thought that given his performance since he's taken charge for the second time, you would have had a little bit more kind of goodwill in the bank from the support. But it just seems that as soon as someone fails for 1 or 2 games, it's doom and gloom, get him out kind of thing. And because our bad form has been on now in the league, it's been a bit indifferent for about a year now, isn't it? So, now I think he's, in this day and age, a little bit lucky to still be in a job. But if you were going to get rid of him, you would have got rid of him during a World Cup break. So a new manager would have time to work with the players, adapt to tactics and stuff like that. But no, the longer the World Cup went on with no kind of action here, he was safe.
Yeah, good stuff. We'll come back to that in just a minute because West Ham are breaking on the left side. Ben Rama with just another brilliant interception by Declan Rice. Aaron Cresswell looking to get a cross in. He does lift it into the near post. Actually, Mickey Antonio's gone in on Ramsdale. Free kick's been given against Antonio, although there wasn't really a lot in it. Nick, you've got a slightly different perspective, possibly on this this question of Moyes and the response from the fan base.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he should have gone in the break, personally. I know you totally disagree, but that's what makes this and the forum such a wonderful place. It would have been a good opportunity for any incumbent to work with the players.
Yeah.
And just a fresh start, because we did, I'm saying did, at the moment we're looking quite bright in this game. But the change never happened, so he's got to be backed. I can't see the point in getting rid of him now before the end of the season.
Yeah.
If we scrape by the skin of our teeth survival, then yeah, I think that maybe we do need to then start to look elsewhere.
Okay.
But he's in the job now. He's still in the job. He needs our backing. If the board are going to do anything, then it needs to be done by January, within the next week, which if it's not going to happen, is it? So he had a transfer window, but that's not going to happen. Yeah. So yeah, he now needs to be backed until the end of the season at the very minimum.
Okay, good stuff. Just saw Craig Dawson putting a really, really good challenge. Arsenal looking very dangerous, got into the box. But Dawson putting a really good challenge. West Ham kind of sitting back a little bit now. I've got to say, this is another ball chucked into the box. Dawson again underneath it to get it clear. I've got this one's got kind of shades of 2007 for me. That game where Bobby Zamora scored pretty much on the stroke of half time, and Rob Green produced possibly the greatest goalkeeping performance since Phil Parkes at Wolves in the FA Cup in 1979.
Wasn't it, that one?
Absolutely unbelievable.
I've just got someone who wants to say a quick hello, because he's going to have an early night tonight because he's got work tomorrow. So, hello,
Jeff, good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Hello, mate. Thank you.
Christmas, mate. How are you? You all right?
Thank you. Yeah.
You've got to go back to work tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, early start?
Yeah.
Oh no.
He works at Sainsbury's, don't you?
Yeah.
So anybody in Andover, Sainsbury's in Andover is your trolley man.
Oh,
there you go. There you go. Well, I hope you've had a good Christmas.
Headphones back, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You go to bed now?
Yeah, go back to work.
Bye,
Okay.
buddy. See you later. Night, Jeff.
See you Saturday.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah.
36 on the clock.
Yeah,
Arsenal
baby.
0, West Ham
Good night,
United
bro.
1. The Hammers scoring the only goal of the game so far. Side Ben Rama from the penalty spot after 26 minutes. And I've been under the cosh a bit since then, but looking to break now. Mickey Antonio, well marshalled and well tackled, actually. No, where do you stand on the David Moyes position?
Yeah, Rio made some very valid points about the modern football supporter and again social media, which we're obviously a part of to a certain degree. You only have to look at today's opponents. But it wasn't all that long ago when there was the big Wenger in or Wenger out debate, which was quite funny because we go over there and there was the hokey cokey, the Wenger in, the Wenger out, and everyone was doing the turning all around and everything. And it's quite amusing. I think Moyes should. I mean, I see what everyone's saying, but I think he should have enough in the bank and should stand and fall by what ends up happening this season. I disagree that he should have gone during the break, the World Cup break, which was 6 weeks. I don't see how any new manager would have had an awful lot of time to get anything. No new players in. Half your best players are scattered around the desert somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things. It's a sad consequence of how social media works these days. As Rio said it, there's the old adage, and I'll use my words carefully, about opinions being like a certain part of the body because everyone's got one, and that's what it is, really, I suppose.
It's not to say that I don't think Moyes has got his faults, and if we do talk about it later, I'll expand on my problems with him. But I just think we're not a sacking club traditionally. So, it would have been a bit disappointing after what he's done, particularly in rejuvenating us over the last year and a bit, 2 years, if he had actually gone straight away.
Okay, good stuff. There you go. Let us know what you think on the Moyes situation. Mark Pearce saying that Moyes he agrees Moyes wants to build something and he needs to be given the time to do so. If you disagree with that, if you think Nick's right, if you think he should have gone earlier in the season, let us know. Arsenal are looking dangerous, ball coming from the right-hand side, but yet once again, West Ham deal with it. Vladimir Soufal this time getting underneath it and averting the danger. West Ham still ahead here, 38 and a half minutes gone, but very much entrenched in our own half here as we make our way towards the half-time interval. The only goal, as I said earlier, coming from Saïd Benrahma after 26 minutes. Looking at the game here, Noam, West Ham sitting back a bit. I'm never comfortable when we play like this. No, we've mentioned the 2007 game, but that kind of, I think, gives some indication how frequently that kind of mindset and tactical approach works, given that we can still remember a game from 15 years ago. Would you like to see West Ham sort of try and hold the ball a bit more here, or how would you?
I think having got 1-0 down, Arsenal were always going to be coming back at us. And sorry, just had a shot there. Antonio was never going to be able to get that on target and slices it slightly wide. But again, onside and good quick free kick there. Antonio sort of holds the ball up, cuts wide, but doesn't get around it enough to get it on target. But we're comparing this to 2007, and I don't think this is quite as. I mean, yes, they're having a lot of possession and they're on the attack, but it's not sort of been backs against the wall stuff as such. It's they're not breaking us down, and Fabianski's made one or two, I say saves, but they've been sort of fairly comfortable, throw your hat on it type saves.
Yeah.
Sorry, just hearing some weird extraneous comment there, but the defending's been good defending, and they're going to have to break us down. And and it's good defending. I think the 2007 was, that if that game had finished 5-1 or something like that, it would have been. It wouldn't have been a travesty, but it was green. We had to think that, but we've got the defence are doing quite well. It's
do you know? I've got to say, no, that I've just seen Lucas Paqueta from outside the box play the ball back to Vladimir Sufal 5 yards away inside his box. I'm glad he had the confidence to play that ball. I'm not sure I would have done, but we're in trouble now. This is dangerous ball playing. And Dawson again there. He's had a good half so far, but yeah, very much back to. Should we just have a look at the statistics? I was just about to read them out.
I bet they're funny. Yeah,
it's actually changed a bit since it was 70-30 possession in favour of Arsenal. That's 71-29. That's another big challenge from Tilo Kehrer. Oh, that's a terrible cross. West Ham have goal kick. 4 shots from Arsenal. Highlighting the point you're making, I think, Noam, this. Arsenal 4 shots to West Ham's 2. Arsenal only 1 on target so far to West Ham's 2. So I guess that's validation for the point you're making there. In complete contrast to that game 15 years ago where Rob Green was being peppered with shots. I think we faced something like 35 shots. Rio, you might remember this because you're pretty good with the stats.
It was 33 off the top of my head. It was something obscene. I'm still shaking because that was. I know it was a long time ago, but I'm still on a nervous wreck after watching that game. But after we went 1-0 up, and it got to a stage where it became funny.
Yeah.
Because whatever you did, Rob Green just picked it up, plucked it out the air, did everything. And after a certain amount of time, a lot of us around, like where I was sitting and standing, we was laughing because it was just hilarious watching Arsenal get more and more frustrated and Rob Green looking more like reincarnation of Golden Banks, really, because he was just absolutely outstanding that day.
As I say, I still rate it as the greatest goalkeeping experience performance I've ever seen by West Ham goalkeeper. I know a lot of people who were at the Hawthorns on that aforementioned FA Cup 3rd round, I think it was, day in 79 would disagree, but it was something else that day, Rob Green, and incredible. And of course, that was the game, wasn't it, that gave us that incredible record of having won the last game at Highbury and then the first team to win at the Emirates, right?
Yeah.
So because that, of course, ultimately helped us keep our place in the Premier League or Premiership, whatever it was then. I think it was Premier League by then. Anyway, I digress. 43.5 minutes gone. West Ham leading by 1-0. Should we? What do you make of the first half, Nick? Deserved for West Ham, or are we perhaps a little bit fortuitous to be leading at this point?
A little bit fortuitous, but I'll take it. At the end of the day, Arsenal. I don't want to say because they're going to score when I do. They've been pretty wasteful in front of goal, but I think that's really to do with our stoic defending. So I'm not taking anything away from Arsenal because we know how dangerous they are. But at the moment, our defensive shape and discipline is first class. So it's not so much Arsenal being poor in front of goal. I think they just haven't had the chances. We're restricting them.
We've just seen Vladimir Sufal booked for taking the ball. I'm disappointed with that. He's clearly won the ball. Martinelli stood there and as one or two of the chaps have pointed out,
he had studs up and he's come down on his foot.
He's caught him on the follow through. Yeah.
In this day and age, you're going to get a booking for that, in you. I think a bit annoyed if, to coin a phrase, the boot was on the other foot.
We got 3 minutes of stoppage time, which seems remarkably generous to us. I think they've said they're not going to follow the same path as the World Cup, where everybody sort of every time somebody blows their nose, there's a stoppage. But 3 minutes seems a bit long to me. I don't think I guess it must be the VAR for the penalty, I suppose. But we're in that. And the other thing is, you'll be glad to know, by the way, that there are no further members of the Thrower family here to come on here. But of course, if we win this, Mum, this probably means I've got to get my mum on every week, which
Yeah.
Getting out to work
Yes.
the computers could be fun, yeah.
Yeah, our lucky charm, definitely. We were just seeing Arsenal with a free kick from the left that came to nothing. Just saw here it is. Pass count so far. Arsenal 284 passes, West Ham 89. Which of course means that there's no will be the first of two means absolutely nothing because the only statistic that counts is that one up there at the top of the screen. Right. Well, what did you make, Nick, of that? I'm not sure you were watching a lot of the World Cup, but from the games you see, what did you make of seeing 13 minutes added on time at the end of the halves of some games? All a bit bizarre, that wasn't it?
I only really watched one game, so I can't really comment, to be honest, because I did my very best to boycott it when I could, because I just was dead set against it. So what do I think of it? I think it's absolutely ridiculous, to be honest. If they're going to do that, then just literally stop the clock every time the ball's out of play, every time there's a stoppage.
Yeah.
And games like tonight, which again, it's another thing I don't like about modern football. 8 o'clock kickoff on Boxing Day, shut that right where the sun don't shine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Don't agree with that.
No.
No, I think they're trying to tinker too much with the game nowadays. You can't be adding that sort of time on unless it's a bad injury or something like that, But the way they did it in the World Cup, from reading the forum and social media, crazy.
Yeah, certainly different. We're in the final 40 seconds of the added on time. Arsenal breaking on the left-hand side into the box. Cross comes over, it's out for a corner. Rio, what did you make of that? Were you a fan of all that additional time? Well, I'm not sure anyone really was expecting it, were they, before it sort of happened?
I just think it's completely bizarre, wasn't it? I'd say it comes from nowhere. And as the tournament progressed, it seemed to get less and less anyway. So I just think that people are just so fed up with like the really extended passages of play at the end.
Hang on. What's happening here? Arsenal players surrounding. Well, I'm trying to see who that is on the floor there. Arsenal players are claiming there's handball there. There's a West Ham player on the ground. Well, let's have a look.
Been given.
I think that is a penalty. I think that is a penalty as well.
Goodness sake.
I think if it's not outside the final, let's have a look. We're going to see a replay of it now.
Yeah, that's
the shot comes in from the edge of the box. Is that Cresswell's arm or his head?
It's his head.
He's got his hands in front of his head.
He's heading.
It's his head. Oh, it's his head. It's not even his hand. Surely VAR is going to rule this out, chaps.
Yeah, that's his head.
Oh, how can Oliver get that so wrong? Yeah,
No.
that's going to be ruled out.
That's going to be ruled out, yeah.
David Moyes is absolutely...
he's going to have a look at it. Sorry, from behind it looked like it looked like his hand, because his hand was out there and it sort of came out that way. But I've just seen it again, looking at it very closely. It's his head. And Oliver's now going to have a look at it, which usually is an indicator of change. Let's have a look. So look.
He has stuck with, didn't he stick with an on-field decision in the World Cup, Oliver?
Yeah. But it's definitely his head looking at it now, because he goes like that with it and it goes down. Yeah.
I think you've got to ask yourself the question, why is Oliver even given that? I mean, he's got a clear view of it. He's no more than 10 yards away. There's no players in between him and Aaron Cresswell. Here's the replay.
To be fair, at full speed, it did look like it hit his hand.
Yes.
Hands up.
VAR's turned it over and he's pointed at his head. So overturned. Moyes claps properly. And I must admit, I first look at that, I thought it might have been, but if you look at it
his hands up in a natural position, but
his hands were sort of there, but it came through the gap of it, didn't it? He sort of like headed it, and so Arteta's doing his nut, of course, because it's
Good decision,
what Arteta asked them to do. They've just shown Wenger in the crowd now. I wonder if he actually saw that one.
What's going on here? Sorry, no, go on.
Just saying, Wenger, fresh from his appearance at Watford the other season, or at least a woman who looked like him. That's half time, by the way. yeah, Watford away. There's a woman sort of stood behind us up in the sort of the sort of gantry area going in and out of the offices, and she was a dead ringer for Arsene Wenger, and of course the crowd spotted her, and she was stood there watching the game like, arms folded like this, and there were lots of chants, one Arsene Wenger, Wenger, give us a wave, and she was looking down, sort of like just bemused by it, all smiling, not realising that she looked like Arsene Wenger. Then somebody came out and told her, and she looked down, sort of smiled, then went back inside. Didn't wait for anything.
50 minutes, 37 seconds, first half. Not quite the 13 or 14 minutes that we were talking about a few moments ago, but in the end, we got 5.5 minutes added on at the end of the half for the VAR. Quite an exciting end to the half, really. But anyway, West Ham lead at the break at the Emirates by 1-0. Rio, would you like to go first in summing up the opening 45 minutes, bud?
I'd describe it as messy, really. Arsenal's attacking play is lacking quality in the final passage. We haven't offered a lot in terms of the way our attacking prowess, but you don't really expect to. But what we have done really well is when we, the very few occasions we have got a break on, we've actually looked threatening. There was a crossing from Bowen on the right-hand side, which went behind for a corner, which that could have gone anywhere. We see a Supal get forward once or twice. He looked quite sharp.
Yeah.
And the goal, I still think if he'd have stayed on his feet, he would have had a really good shot on target. But yeah, Arsenal's final attacking play is poor. Our defending went from dubious to resolute to back to less than dubious afterwards. And refereeing decisions, again, it's all messy. If Mike Oliver
is something wrong when refereeing decisions go in your favour at Arsenal, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like there's something not natural about this game. I can't put my finger on it.
There you go. Thank you, Rio, for that assessment. Rio,
guys, can I just disappear for a second anyway? Just go to see my mum.
Yeah.
I shall return.
No worries. No, offer an update on Coronation Street. No doubt he can bring us the latest from Weatherfield when he gets back. Nick Rio said that the first half really we were lacking quality, but here we are at the break, a goal ahead. We've experienced worse at Highbury in the Emirates over the years.
We've still got 45 minutes left plus stoppage time. It's going to be very nervy, isn't it? If we sneak this, I'm going to be absolutely amazed. To be fair, I'd still bite your hand off for a point right now. I don't think we're going to win this. But this could be reverse psychology.
I think it's that natural West Ham optimism that we all share seeping out, isn't it? It's hard even at this stage when you're leading to think that West Ham can hang on to it or God forbid, go and score another one and extend our lead in the second half. But here we are. Anyway, team watching on the stream, let us know what you thought of the first half. Are you pleased with what you've seen? West Ham were a little bit lucky. Do you think it was a penalty? Let us know your comments and thoughts on the opening 45 minutes from the Emirates. West Ham lead at the break from Said Benrahma's 26th minute penalty, which came after Jared Bowen was tripped by Saliba as he raced into the penalty box. Not an awful lot of goalmouth action, really. According to the statistics, which give Arsenal, it's gone up again at 72% possession now, compared to West Ham's 28 in that first half. 6 shots from Arsenal, only 1 on target, 3 shots from West Ham, 2 on target, 2 corners each, 5 fouls committed by Arsenal, 9 committed by West Ham. We're in the TV studios over at Amazon Prime. Scott Parker, he must have been away for Christmas because he's looking very, very brown. Looking very, very healthy. I suppose he's got plenty of time on his hands at the moment. But Lucas Paqueta, Rio.
It's fair to say
Looked really, really good, didn't he, in the World Cup? And an excellent World Cup for Brazil. And, for the time they were there, at least. Anyway.
Tiny bit of doubt.
Again tonight, have we?
Looked for me.
on the periphery really, this afternoon.
Again, this is not a game for our attacking players to shine. We're under the cosh. There's very little time and space to had to kind of exploit any kind of issues.
Yeah.
But this is what I was trying to expand on earlier on when we were discussing David Moyes. Now, he spent a lot of money on Lucas Paqueta, who is clearly a fantastic player. But it seems to me that he hasn't really done due diligence on where he thinks he should be playing. Because as we saw in the World Cup for Brazil, and also when he played for Lyon, he played a lot deeper. He played more as a number 6, almost kind of a quarterback role where he sets up the play, dictates things. Here, I think Moyes sees him as someone who plays a lot further forward. And it's the same with our striker, the Scamacca, and also before him, Sebastian Haller. We've got quality. Both of them are quality players, really good strikers. But David Moyes, and this is my biggest fault for him, he doesn't not seem to know where to play these players in their correct positions. We spend a lot of money on these people, and they never get utilised in the right manner. And it's to the detriment of the team, really.
Okay. No, we were just talking about Lucas Paqueta, saying that he had a very decent World Cup for Brazil. Got involved quite a lot. Looked much more comfortable, and he kind of seems a little bit out of sorts again tonight from what we've seen so far. Not particularly playing his favourite.
Yeah, although there's that, but it's also perhaps not a game for Paqueta. Where we're on the back foot. That sort of.
You don't see a lot of penalties now going down the middle. I think when Rama's
got some sort of. I think my headphones are connected somewhere else. They have to disappear for a second. There's something going wrong there.
Technical issue. We'll come back to Naomi in just a minute. Well, what's your view on Paqueta, Nick? Are you? We're still waiting to see the best of him, aren't we, so far? And I thought perhaps tonight we might see a little bit of what we saw in the World Cup, but yeah, maybe not the game for him tonight.
How many of the games are not going to be the game for him? Because it seems to be a common theme, or Moyes doesn't know where to play him. Again, I think he's a good player who's at the wrong club, basically. I'll stand by what I said at the start of the season. I think for us, I'm saying he's a bad player, but I think for us, he's going to turn out to be a bit of a dud, to be honest, because I've seen nothing from him in a West Ham shirt. Seen plenty from him in a Brazilian shirt, but I've seen nothing from him in a West Ham shirt that's telling me he's going to excel at the London Stadium.
Okay, good stuff. I've got something I can show everybody.
Steady.
Can we all see that?
Yes.
Oh, my ball.
I've been waiting for for an opportune moment to bring it up on the screen. But there you go. The last remaining one of Nick's 6 baubles, West Ham baubles. With
I don't know what that decoration is to the right, but it looks like somebody shoved a bread roll in.
Or a cauliflower, kind of like a
cauliflower. Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
An old tennis ball.
I don't know what that is, actually. It's probably Isaac's lunch, and he's stashed it. Rather, we ain't got a dog he can feed it to, so...
I don't know if I can zoom in. Hang on. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that is.
It does look like a roll, doesn't it? I'm going to have to check that out.
It's a Brussels sprout and there's 3 pickled onions a minute ago.
Oh, I know what it is. It's one of these things that he made at school when he was much, much younger. Obviously, I think he must have been about 3 or 4, and you can tell. But it's sentimentality in it.
Exactly, good stuff. There you go. Anyone else got any old Clareton Blue Upton Park baubles? I'm say they must be worth a few bob these days.
I will accept bids for it. I will accept bids. Bids.
There you go. So half time. Arsenal 0, West Ham United 1. The only goal of the first half coming from Saïd Benrahma from the penalty spot. Let's have a quick discussion briefly about the penalty decision again. Nick, you called it straight away. I think if I'm remembering rightly, I mean, it was nearly half an hour ago. But
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It was half hour ago. I think,
good
yeah,
call
in
from Mike
watching the
Oliver.
replays, I think it was quite soft,
Yeah.
to be honest. And I did think that VAR was going to overturn it. But, you know, by the laws of the game, he did clip his left foot. He went down. So, yeah, it's a penalty. The ref's given it. We've scored it. Happy days.
Have we, Noam, have we finally found our replacement for Mark Noble from the penalty spot with Said Benrahma? It always looks confident, doesn't he, when he steps up? And we've had a few duds since Noble stopped taking them frequently.
Yeah, he's looked very good every time. I don't. He probably hasn't missed one for us, has he? And he does look confident. So, yeah, maybe. Yeah. I'm just glad that it's not Declan taking them, bless him. But yeah, who was it? Missed it. Oh, it was Ogbonna, wasn't it? Yeah, the very last person on the list missed against Blackburn, wasn't it, to knock us out of that? So yeah, so I've just so I'm just checking on the chat thing there, and the comment about Nick's baubles are quite amusing.
I know.
We weren't going to talk about that.
Pierce has got it in for me tonight, hasn't he?
The other thing is, I just popped in and saw my mum, who's ensconced in front of Coronation Street, and told her it was 1-0 at half time. And she says, if we win and you want her back, it'll cost you a bottle of gin each time. So
It'd be an expensive habit. Where was I going to go next? Oh, yeah, the forum. I was going to have a look and see what some of our readers. Has anyone got the match thread open on the forum?
I have. It's a usual match thread with polarized opinions that we're doing well, we're doing crap. Carer's crap, Carer's good. Dawson's crap, Dawson's good. Yeah, and we're waiting for, and obviously the normal conspiracy theories that, you know, they're going to deliberately give Arsenal the win to even it up, etc., etc. Which, to be fair, you know, if they was going to do that, they would have given the Arsenal penalty. You know, swings and roundabouts.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just having a quick look at the one of the Arsenal forums, Gooners World, and they seem to think they're lacking a striker, or at least someone called VCC does, saying that we need a striker like yesterday. Is that a fair shout, Rio? Do you think Arsenal are missing a Thierry Henry or dare I say a Malcolm McDonald, someone of that ilk?
They were messing Raphael Mead tonight. That's how bad they've been. I'm really not a fan of Martinelli. I think he spends, much like a lot of Arsenal's attacking options, he spends far too much time looking for the foul, looking to go down rather than trying to play the ball.
Yeah.
We've seen over the last few years, until Gabriel Jesus come in from this year, they've been lacking that regular, consistent goal scorer. I think probably the last one they had really was probably Van Persie. And it's been really noticeable that they've had no real focal point on a consistent basis up until from that moment, and they've suffered as a result. I would say it's a shame to see Arsenal suffer, but it's not. So, yeah, they're missing a striker, and I hope they continue to miss one for many a year to come.
Good stuff. Also seems to be a little bit of sympathy on the Arsenal forum for the booking that Soufal said that they felt it was a bit harsh. An interesting comment about the penalty. Lozmeister, who has got the tag George Graham, I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe he only posts once every evening or something. I don't know. But he says, how lucky can you get? Cresswell purposefully lifts his hands. It misses his hands, but hits him in the face, FFS. Yeah, they don't seem to be too surprised. Also, quite complimentary about West Ham's defending. Mars Bar 100 says it's going to be hard to break them down. 22-0 going along with what Rio said, saying that they're really missing Jesus there. and Nuggets asking who we got on the bench who can change things. The Hammers are playing well, better than I expected. No, what's your view on Martinelli? Clearly a player with some pedigree. So you think Rio's got a fair point there, saying that he should spend more time on his feet rather than his backside?
I wouldn't say his first thought is to think, how can I get a free kick out of this situation? But it's pretty close to his first thought.
First thought was, how can I get 58 grand a week? Then how can I get a free kick? Then I might be able to score a goal at some point during that one.
Oh yeah, there's nobody here to foul me. I may as well try and shoot or something. But he had a good game against this corresponding match last year, which was around this time of year, wasn't it? I think it was December last year, wasn't it? One of the depressing things about the modern game where that's so much part of it. On my stream anyway, on the little stream that I've got, the players are out and we're just about to start the second half. I think I'm probably the most up to date on look at it on my phone rather than the laptop. So and we're underway.
Second half underway. West Ham leading 1-0. 15th of December. No, just for clarification. That game last year, 2-0. A bog standard 2-0 defeat, wasn't it? But Anthony Taylor was the referee that night, of course, and we were most disappointed with him with his performance on that particular evening. Gentlemen, I'm going to leave everything in your capable hands for just a moment because I need to pop out and get a refill. A bit empty here and the old throat's needs a tickle, so I'll be back in just a tick.
No, it's just second half just started. It's 1-0.
So, it's down to us now, is it?
Yep.
Go well. Second half's about to start. Players are out.
Yeah. My mum just popped in to see if we'd won yet. So bless her.
I ain't looking forward to this second half, though.
It's going to be. It's not going to be an easy watch, is it?
No.
Antonio's came through here. Antonio shot on the Ramsdale. Managed to beat
Antonio 1-1 with the keeper. Of course, he's going to balls it up.
Yeah, it was a
typical. Right, so you are ahead of me. Hang on.
Yeah, it was a nice little ball in, down the right hand side. Antonio got behind the defence, run through and goal, and it was the powder puff finish.
It was dreadful. Should have hit it with his left foot.
What times have we got there? Just am I missing? I haven't seen that.
46-13.
Yeah, Rio's about
13.
3 or 4 seconds ahead of me.
46-13. Okay, so I'm ahead of you, but I just happened to miss it because my mum was asking me if we won yet. So this never happens to Tildesley, does it?
Sadly not.
Mum coming in.
More entertaining.
Would you like a cup of tea, love? No, I've got just Arsenal going down the right now, and balls on the edge of the box, lining up a shot. Fabianski turns it round the post for a corner. Clive Tildesley writes these sort of crib sheets before matches, which he has the teams in, and he has like notes on every player. And I've got the one from the last game at the Boleyn, which he actually flogs off nowadays. And he wrote a very nice note on the back of it about the website, which Lou, who bought it for me, hadn't told him about the website. So he clearly sort of knew what he was looking at. Corner comes in, and they're sticking somebody on Fabianski pretty much every time, and he's dealt with them very, very well. On this occasion, he deals with it very well. Ball swinging in underneath the crossbar, and he manages to punch away despite the I'm not sure that is backing into him. Oliver gives the free kick. Right, I'm just seeing the Antonio thing now. That's
the time to utilise that corner as well. They had another one in the first half, which is swinging in, which Fabianski doesn't deal with overtly comfortably, does he? So maybe that's
tonight though. I've seen some good punching from him tonight.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's like the in-swinging corner, and that's the second time we utilised that. So maybe they spotted somebody.
Yeah, clearly it's a targeting thing from previous matches, but so far this evening he's looked all right on those. Right, so now here's a ball played down. Bowen on the right has had a little bit of space, but he's been held up in traffic. But he's now looking for help, and he's fouled. So he bought the foul there. It's one of those tear your hair out at your player, because Bowen's going nowhere, and the foul in there is just relieves the pressure a little bit. And I don't know what's going on here. Relieves the pressure a bit, and away we go. It's sort of, it's very counterproductive, that sort of foul. Graham's back. Yeah, so what do you think, Graham? Let's see how much of that we can get on the screen. Yeah. So you think we should be winning 2-0? Now another Arsenal player's gone down, clutching his face. Bowen's gone up with it to challenge for it. Got his arm up for leverage. Not even a foul, really, I don't think. But
Arteta
it's
quickly make himself possibly the most hated manager in world football. He's overreaction to everything. It's just absolutely abysmal.
That's Tierney gone up there, and it's not. I mean, wherever the contact's been, that's not in the face. And Arteta's waving the imaginary card, and Moyes is just bemused by it all. Tierney's up. It's a miracle. Saints be praised.
And we're bowing on a yellow. Are they going to try like that? Every time Bowen goes near anybody, they're going to go down. I mean, not that they weren't before he was on a yellow, but it's not good.
Yeah, Bowen booked in the 8th minute for catching Martinelli, and I wonder what Moyes thinks about that. Obviously, Arteta being one of his charges from back in the day speaks very highly of him, but it must be really disappointing to see a fellow manager. It's bad enough when the players start waving the cards around, right? But to see a manager do it, I mean, that's poor, isn't it? It's poor form.
Yeah,
bad dust, as one of our own used to say.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, but it's sort of thing you can't expect from that ground. There's an unceremoniously long clearance in the direction of Antonio from Dawson. And we come away. What? We look like we're coming away with the ball, but Owens pulled it back for. I didn't spot what that was, but nobody seems to be complaining much. And there may have been a little nudge there, but we go again. It's shame that, because we might have been in a promising attacking position there if we'd come through that unscathed by referee. Bear me a second, I'm just going to shut the door behind me because the front door's outside and it's a bit nippy out there. So
52 minutes gone. Arsenal on the attack, breaking down the centre. Excellent work by Lucas Paqueta. Sets on it. Do we get the feeling there could be opportunities here, Rio? Perhaps for we've seen a couple of times, haven't we? West Ham looking to break quickly. There certainly seems to be opportunity. Arsenal obviously have to push forward a little bit more to try. Oh, this is dangerous. Have Arsenal scored? Is he offside? Saka's put the ball in the net. What's happening? I think he scored. I think it's going to count.
Yeah.
Bugger.
Yeah, just I dropped my phone just at the wrong moment. There were hands up looking at it. Let's have a look at it again. On there.
And that come from one of the counters we was talking about breaking down.
Oh, this.
Soufal's playing him on by about 3 yards.
I was looking at the wrong player there. So yeah.
Martinelli was offside, but no, Saka wasn't.
Yeah.
But that was rather fortuitous, wasn't it? Because it was a shot by Odegaard.
Mind you, the first thing Saka did was look at the ref. Now West Ham go on the break. Antonio down the right hand side, but runs into trouble and played out for think that's a West Ham throw. They put the caption up there right over the touchline. Oh, there's an Arsenal player down. Sorry if that's news to you, but
Oh, we've got another one.
Well, he's clutching his head. Martinelli's rubbing his thigh. It's Tierney again, who seems to be in the wars or some kind of imaginary war with himself. But Michael Oliver's not taking any further action. West Ham have a throw in.
yeah, quite right. Yeah, I think they're going down out of habit now.
Anyway, 1-1. West Ham's lead lasting just 7 minutes of the second half. Saka, it was to level. Vladimir Soufal. It seemed like the rest of the West Ham defence, Rio, thought that Saka was offside. I don't think they realised that Soufal was playing everyone on side.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, as I said, Martinelli was clearly offside, but Soufal dropped about 3 or 4 yards deeper than any other West Ham defender. And yeah, it's just, again, it wasn't pretty, was it? One of our attacks breaking down, they kind of chomped forward. My son claims it was a pass by Odegaard. I'm not going to give him any kind of credit whatsoever. And I hate to say this as well, Saka scoring really brings me down because I dislike him. I really do dislike him. I know it's probably partly due to him being Arsenal, but I just don't. I just can't warm myself to the player.
Yeah.
It's a shame because one of England's bright young talents. There's just something about that kid that I really, really can't stand.
Yeah.
He speaks highly of you too, Greg.
Not really been mentioned, by the way, but that was as a result their goal of Declan being caught in possession in the midfield there.
Ooh, was it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I haven't seen it properly yet. My phone fell on the floor just at the wrong moment, so I've only seen the ball go in.
He's had a good game, isn't he, up to now?
Declan lost it. It went.
We mustn't keep giving this ball away, though. Although we've now won it back, Declan. Play it outright now. Well, since it's gone 1-1 we've actually, well, although we're being forced back now, but we've actually shown a little bit more attacking intention. But that's not a place where you want to be losing the ball.
How is that?
Although, now, how is that? That's just ludicrous. Souček's been fouled there, and because he's gone down and
He's still
put the
being
ball
fouled.
up. Yeah.
How?
And, how is that a foul? How is that a free kick to Arsenal, Oliver?
He sat there virtually looking at it from about 25 centimetres wide.
Well, that's got to be a booking. He's just booted the ball at Paqueta. Why is that not a booking? I've just stood up for this ref.
No. Oliver's our best referee, so
On the
he keeps telling us.
but now he's losing control.
No, it's that's just poor. That's just they're hacking away at Souček when he's on the floor, and and when he goes down, the free kick goes the other way. I mean, it's just bonkers.
Yeah, stunned, really stunned, really surprised. Don't see how I can get. I can only assume he's given that for obstruction in some way. But anyway, 1-1, game on. Just over half hour left. Arsenal looking to attack again now. Nick, you said a while ago you'd happily take a 1-1 when West Ham scored. Looks like you might be onto something there.
I don't know.
There's obviously a long way to go yet.
Squeeze a 1-1 out of this, to be honest. It's not the refs are losing control. We are. I mean, in all honesty, Souček again. As much as we want to have a pop at the ref on that, Souček could have done better anyway. He's just run into that blind alley and he's put himself in that position. So we need to start getting level heads here because A, we've got 2 players on yellows. B, twice we've been caught in position and
2-1. 2-1. Fabianski beaten at the near post.
Should be beaten at your near post.
Unbelievable. 2 goals.
Oh, that was awful. That was absolutely awful, Fab. Come on, mate.
I think you might be being a little harsh on Fabianski there. You should never be in that situation. I mean, it's Saka who's out-muscled Declan Rice to win the ball in the first place. It plays it short to Odegaard. Yeah, and it's played on the left-hand side. And Soufal's just got to stand his man. I mean, I get what you're saying about Fabianski, but Soufal's got to do better there. He's got, he's...
Well,
Yeah,
no,
you're right.
Fair. Again, it's just another catalogue of errors, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you're right. I take that back about Fabianski.
That was shocking. Absolutely shocking from Fabianski.
Yeah. Shot can only go one way. He's got to be better than that. And West Ham are behind, having led for the half of the first half. Conceded 2 goals in 5 minutes. We've got it all to do.
Yeah, that's it. It's game over. This is going to be a typical West Ham at the Emirates, 3-1, 4-1. It's the hope that kills you.
But Soufal unfortunately not coming out of this game particularly well so far. Played Saka on side for the first goal, and he's got to get closer to his man in those situations. You can't give your player as a fullback. You can't give him that much space and room.
But yet again, as well, it's our captain in the middle of the park that's been muscled off the ball.
Yeah,
both goals.
No.
We are exactly 2/3 of the way through the game. An hour gone. Arsenal. West Ham are winning after half an hour, 1-0, and it's now 2-1 to Arsenal with an hour gone. Still plenty of time to go though, and lots could happen. But you kind of fear, I think, for West Ham a bit now. It's not good, not good. I guess you could say we're not used to leading in a game. At least we weren't behind from the start. I suppose in this one could have been worse, but. Yeah, it's going to be a long last half hour, I think.
On the bright side, it's at least 10 minutes since an Arsenal player went down clutching their ankle. So
surprising that, isn't it? Wonder why.
Certainly normal service resume, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. We haven't really looked much. I mean, people have been saying about how we're going to, the break's going to do us good, etc., etc., etc. But it ain't really looked much different, has it, from before the World Cup? If anything, we look even more leggy. Especially our captain, dare I say.
It's great to see West Ham come out and play now. Mickey Antonio not really been involved in an awful lot tonight. Sort of been there or thereabouts, but
they had chances, hasn't he? One early in the second half.
Yes. Yeah, right at the start of the half there, but West Ham got it all to do. Let us know what you think on the live chat. You think West Ham can come back into this and grab something out of it, or do you think that's game over? Let us know your thoughts on the live chat, ladies and gentlemen.
The biggest fear for me is I don't see how we can kind of alter the dynamic of the side. The options on the bench tonight aren't exactly rife, are they?
No, but what's concerning though is they're not right. But who we got out? We've only got Skamaka out and Cornet, and Zuma. We've only got 3 players out, and despite signing 9 players in January, our bench is looking as sparse as my hair.
You're also got a Gerd out, of course. Who?
All right, give you that one.
So we're essentially missing out our first choice centre half pairing of Agerd and Zuma. It's an interesting one, that Cornet, isn't it? Because I think Preview Percy might have mentioned it in his column this week about how Maxwell Cornet has always been a week or so away from a full recovery since he was first sidelined a couple of months ago. Strange one, that. What do you make of that, chaps? Rio?
Again, dare I say it, is this David Moyes signing the player and not knowing really how to utilise him? And since
we had a chance to utilise him, he's people on sick.
Yeah, but has he got the Alan Devonshire flu, which was rife during the late 80s, and he was always a week or two away from being fully fit, and never quite got back to full speed. It's just a very strange one because I really don't see. I don't see how the manager knows how to utilise players when they are available. Yeah, it's just weird. I can't fathom a lot of things out at the moment.
Arsenal free kick swung in from the right-hand side. West Ham deal with it on that occasion. Lucas Paqueta looks to break away. Not a lot of in front of him. And Said Benrahma has to try and hold the ball up and wins a free kick. 64 minutes gone. Arsenal 2. West Ham United 1. The Hammers have it all to do. Craven not particularly confident. Says this is game over already. And Hobo agrees. Not a chance of getting back into it, he says. Steve Palmer suggesting that we used all of our Arsenal luck up when they fell over, when Trev fell over, and scored with his head a few years ago.
We need a prime Mark Noble in the middle of the pitch.
Well, hang on, West Ham breaking on the right-hand side. Mickey Antonio is going to get there first. Can he get a crossover? He can't, but he's going to win a corner, I think. Yep, Saliba putting the challenge. So chance for a set piece because we're of course, as we know, chaps, we're so strong from set pieces this season. It's our real forte, isn't it?
We definitely overachieved with set piece over the last 2 years. We used up all our luck because we've been rubbish at them for the last 15, 20. So being so good for so long. Yeah.
Well, here we go. Jarrod Bowen's going to swing one in. Give us an in-swinger.
Could we do something other than try to hit the first player at the near post?
I think we've achieved that. We kind of hit the fourth player, I think, on this occasion, and the ball's been played all the way back to Lucas Fabianski. But, 66 minutes, 20 seconds gone. Arsenal leading. West Ham have somehow got to fight. Who have we got on the bench, by the way? Should go, no, do you want to run through that? Lot again, we were talking about options. Let's see it once again who we've got.
Let me dial it up. Bear with me a sec. Talk amongst yourselves.
If I duck, you can probably see him behind me. How big you can.
Can't read that.
Oh dear.
There we go.
Well, Gnome's finding out our bench. Tilo Kehra's just tried his luck from about 35 yards, and as you would expect from a centre half stroke fullback, it's sailed way over the bar into the crowd. I suppose it goes down.
Having a go, let's be honest. No one else is.
Right, yeah, the bench. We got Johnson, Fornals, Lanzini, Downs, Areola, Ogbonna, Coventry, Emerson, and Mubama. So Mubama's probably,
How? They've just showed the Fabianski goal again. Good God, it's worse the more you see it.
Yeah. I suppose the only thing you could say about those options is that Mubama's been in pretty decent form for the youngsters lately. I think he scored twice. Who is it against last week?
Sheffield. No, I don't know.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Yeah,
it was Sheffield United, wasn't it? In the cup, we were. I think he created an assist for the first goal and then scored the next two. We won 3-1 in the end, and certainly having a really, really good season. Whether or not he would be considered by David Moyes as a potential option to bring on as an additional striker or even a replacement for Antonio, perhaps, I'm not sure, but we will see. I mean, I guess the fact that we're 67 minutes in and it doesn't look like anyone's even being considered as a replacement. There's nobody warming up as far as we can see. Kind of tells its own story, but rapidly approaching the last 20, which of course is when Moyes makes his substitutions. Generally, Nick, who are you predicting Moyes is going to utilise here, or do you think we'll just stay with what he's got?
He's probably going to bring the young striker on, probably in about the 99th minute, I would have thought, just to give him a run out. Or no one, or he'll get a gun and just shoot his bench, shoot himself, and make the headlines that way.
I've
got no answers. It's terrible.
Rio, any thoughts on the potential substitutions? Who would you? I mean, let me ask who you would be bringing on, given the options we've got at this stage. Or would
substitute the manager?
Oh, this is trouble. Oh, it's three. It's three, and I think that's game over. 3-1. And it's
He
another one
shouldn't be
coming from inside the
turn like
box.
Shouldn't be allowed to turn like that at all.
Mm.
You're an international defender. You got absolutely rolled. And it's not by a good player. It's
Who got turned? I didn't see.
Kera.
Oh well.
The forum's going to go and melt down there if it was Kera.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's
let's be honest. Again, that's another. Let me
That's
have a
poor.
look. Because I've got the up with Fabianski, so I want to blame him for this and all. So let me have another look here.
it's Nketiah.
He could have done better with that and all. Let's be honest.
That's just too easy, isn't it? No.
I mean, for a defender of Tilo Kera's standing, an international defender, you simply cannot be rolled in the box like that. I mean, you just sit off him. He's going nowhere. Just sit behind him.
And it looks like Fabianski has just lost that little bit of reaction time that a top keeper in the Premier League should have. You know, he was still above the ball when it went in.
Yeah,
Kera
I'm not
could have
sure.
done better and all. But let's
Well-
face it, the whole performance, all of their goals have just been simple mistakes. All
Yeah,
and they've been all avoidable. I know sometimes you concede goals and you have to give the opposition credit, but every single one of their goals has been through basic schoolboy poor football from us. Even in the build up to them allowing the goal to happen, it's.
You know, I
before the
guess.
game, but I don't think many of us were hopeful. I know that a couple
No.
of guys before and were, but I wasn't. But it's the manner that we're losing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not
yeah.
like we're being done by quality, is it? We're
it's
being done by schoolboy errors of our own making.
And this has been a common theme for the whole of this season. And where do you draw the line? Where do you address it? How do you stop it? Because it doesn't look like anyone's got any kind of answers.
Well, is it the coaching?
Oh, that's terrible. Good position, and we just a poor ball out onto the right, which put Arsenal on the front foot again when we were in a good attacking position, and that's what annoys me. And the first half, where we were sort of resolute in defending, we're now all in pieces at the moment at the back, and
Our heads have gone.
Yeah,
Our heads have gone, and we've got, regardless of how good a player Declan Rice is, right? He ain't a leader, and all I'm seeing in our team is a total lack of leadership. We're like a ship without a rudder. And if the manager can't do it from the bench, it needs to be. I just said a little while ago, we're actually missing a prime Mark Noble. That's what I think we need. Someone who's. It was always going to be the case, wasn't it? When Noble goes, we'll miss him when he's gone, and without a shadow of a doubt, that's how it is. Harry never got an England cap. He's an absolute travesty.
Yeah, we spent the last 18 months, 2 years since Moyes' return, having them developed a never say die attitude. And that has completely been.
Yeah.
Is it because Irving and Pearson left the backroom staff? Is it Noble as well? Or is it just like a lot of inertia? And the new players that have come in haven't got the same mentality and the same desire. It's so strange.
That to me, the foul we've just seen on Antonio is a yellow card.
All day long.
Turned the guy, and Oliver hasn't got the backbone he was born with, as usual, and just go out a free kick. Yeah, but he's deliberately pulled the player down to prevent a breakaway. That's a yellow. And yeah, Antonio's quite rightly having a go at Oliver. It's why is that not a yellow?
Yeah, another poor performance, I'm afraid, from the.
Yeah, he's had a shocker,
West Ham
hasn't he?
breaking now. Anyway, Paqueta's played it out to Ben Rama. I mean, looking dangerous, West Ham. Ben Rama into the box. Can he get a ball across? Oh, what are you doing shooting from there, son? Ah! Ben Rama gets himself, so many times he says, gets himself into a great position inside the box. Opportunities, pull it back, lay it across. No, it's going to go for the jugular.
Three players we had in a 6-yard box there.
Yep.
Another Ben Rama inexplicable decision.
I think we can add it to the long list, Nicholas. I think.
And on the forum, I wonder have a guess who this is that said this, right? Some people can hardly wait to get the knives out. Come on, we've been shite for over a year. It's not a case of waiting to get the knives out. Go away, you Moyes child.
Well, I'm still, you know, I mean, if
you, Nick, what do you really think, though? So don't mince your words. You're amongst friends. Yeah.
It just does my head in. You get people like that saying some people can't wait to get the knives out. We've been terrible again, and it's not because Arsenal have played well. We've been terrible.
We've handed them 3 goals. Yeah,
we've made basic errors, and it starts from the top. That's the thing. It starts from the top. It's like the players ain't got a clue what they're doing. They're they're kind of scared. It's kind of like how it was with Avram Grant, where it's like nobody knew what the hell to do. The players don't seem to know their roles. All right, they can't pass the ball, whatever, but it's shocking. Nothing has changed in the 6 weeks or so since the World Cup. And that, to me, is absolutely 100% concerning. And we're bang in trouble.
Yeah, the whole ethos of the club has changed. When Moyes took over again, he said, if you don't run, you don't play. If you don't work hard, you don't play. If you haven't got the mental strength, mental fortitude, you don't play. And we're playing the same as week in, week out, who are not displaying any of those attributes. We've got a lack of movement on and off the ball. It's lack of ideas and a lack of leadership.
It's gone 9 o'clock, so I think we're allowed to say this on YouTube. We're shit.
It's a free kick to Arsenal. I think about 30 yards or so out. That Saka's lining up at the moment. I think somebody maybe a few seconds ahead of me who will say what happens to this. But that came from a poor ball from Declan. Ben Rama was trying to hassle the player on the ball and gave away a pretty soft free kick. So so about almost exactly 30 yards.
If that's a free kick, no, then I can't for the life of me understand why Michail Antonio's wasn't given a few seconds earlier.
Yeah,
it was a far more cynical challenge than Ben Rama simply hassling the player. Didn't even foul him; it was just hassling him, and the player got upset because he was, had the audacity. That was nearly 4. Odegaard just clipped one that's just gone wide. But it's a really poor performance. I was praising Oliver as well in the first half. Really disappointing now, but it's poor. It's poor. Going back to the other issue, I think it's really hard to criticise the manager when you're missing your first choice central defensive pairing, the linchpin of the team. You've got no Kurt Zuma there. You've got no Naya Fagir. Moyes clearly wanted to build this team around those two at the back, and he's not had them. How many games have they played together? Have they played any games together, actually? Zuma and Agard?
One in the cup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did they manage to get one? Yeah. But it's really difficult. And, yes, we're not missing a series of players, but we're missing a lot of, you look at that spine, you're missing the 2 centre-halves, you're missing Skamaka tonight. Of course, that's not really an excuse because he's not been playing particularly well at all since he came. I think he's still struggling to settle into the pace of Premier League football, something he's already mentioned himself, actually, that he wasn't, it came as a shock to him how quick it was. Well, Arsenal are breaking through on the left here. Hang on a sec. Oh, it's coming. I think it's an offside given, but it's tough. I mean, I get where people are coming from, but I'd still like to see, Moyes. If we were out there, we had our best team and we're getting battered every week, then I don't think the manager has any excuses. But that's not the case at the moment. You're missing. We've not had a settled defence. All of you've all played football, and we all know that to be a successful team, you need a settled defence. When we were playing really well, we had a settled back four. Certainly, a centre half. We haven't had that at all this season. It's really, really difficult, and it's really cost us. Pablo Fornals is on the pitch anyway.
Yeah, for Souček.
Yeah, the only shock it wasn't for Ben Rama.
It usually is, yeah.
To be fair, right, Graham, what you said about the settled back four, I'm inclined to agree to a point. But then when you've got so-called world-class central midfielder, defensive midfielder, who twice was the one that got mullered for start of every single of the first 2 goals. You've then got, I'm not going to big up Kehrer on that because he shouldn't have got spun. But then when you've got a keeper that moves and goes down slower than the Titanic, and the keeper getting done at his near post how he did, is that down to bad defending, or is it our players just aren't good enough? Full stop. That he's persevered too long. When we've got the French number 2 sitting on the bench, you know, it's just small things like that. It ain't the defence's fault that we can't hit the net from open play. We just seem devoid totally of ideas. Yeah, we can have a Gerd as a ball playing defender, but even when we've got the ball further up the pitch, we're not doing anything with it. You've got Ben Rama making inexplicable decisions, and the only person that's got in
Like
chance with a shot has been a central defender that blew it over from 35 yards. So I see your point on the defence, but it's the whole team just seems absolutely clueless at the moment.
Well, look, I'm actually going to argue with myself in it, because the problem this season hasn't been the defence, is it?
No.
I think we went in tonight with the 4th best record in terms of conceding goals in the entire league. We've not been too bad at the back. We've been, as you rightly say, that the problem is scoring goals. Aaron Cresswell mentioned it tonight in his pre-match interview. We're not scoring enough ourselves. He said they were his actual words, and that's absolutely right. We don't seem to, and I don't know, is this because maybe there's, you know, an argument to be had there, and this one is very much on the manager, I think, because there's definitely no argument that we haven't had our best options available. Lucas Paqueta, he still hasn't found a position for. I wonder if he perhaps sees Paqueta as the long-term replacement for Declan Rice. People have talked about Downs as his replacement. I think he might even be thinking about playing Paqueta there. He's certainly not been playing well. Scamacca's not been on fire. Cornet's not been available. Pablo Fornals has been absolutely brilliant for the last 2 seasons, not been able to hold down a place in the team. Thomas Souček, we know, is something's gone drastically wrong there, whether or not that's, you know, giving Declan Rice more. Oh, hang on, Arsenal are in it. This could be 4. No, it's played across goal and there's no one on the end of it. So, yeah, I mean, that you're right. The problem is that we're not scoring goals, but tonight it isn't. All right, tonight we've conceded 3. We haven't done that often this season. And Odegaard's just put one wide. It should have been 4. But I think you're absolutely right. Tonight we've just fallen apart. I mean, you know, you can't concede 3 goals in 15 minutes and expect to win a football match. That's for sure. But, you know, I mean, it's tough. It's a difficult. I don't know the answer. I really don't know the answer, but I don't know where we go from here. I really don't.
The way we was scoring goals over the last 2 seasons, a lot were from set pieces, and we've completely lost that ability. And also, we used to do it with like free-flowing counter-attacking football, and with the lack of movement and a lack of ideas and creativity, and we're lacking a little bit of pace as well, because a lot of our quicker players don't seem either at the races or fit enough. So 2 big parts of our armoury have been taken away. And it's no wonder we're struggling to score goals when our 2 biggest weapons are not existent.
Yeah, so it's a really good point. I mean, what was it, 13, 14 set-piece goals last season, something like that?
Yeah, you take that amount of goals away, it's no wonder we're struggling.
Well, I think that's all we've scored this season. It's something like, well, it's certainly less than a goal a game. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Some of you guys on the live chat. Steve Palmer says Cornet must have been bought off a highlights reel. Ballon Dawson says that Cornet was rarely available for Burnley, and there's no pace in this team. Hachiko 10 at Hachiko says there's something clearly wrong with the team. Steve Palmer says with little solid goal threatening ability up front, the shonky defence will always struggle. Perennial West Ham problem of getting anyone up front with any ability. And Rob Walgen also looking at the team, saying that there's looks like there's very little spirit out there. Lots of finger pointing, kind of passing the buck, which is, yeah, it's never a good sign, is it? No, when you see that people sort of start, you know, pulling each other apart, especially in the same team.
But passing
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
So we can't pass the football at the moment.
Yeah, we can pass. Yeah. I'm just trying to work out why a defence that looks so strong, so assured, so fairly calm in the first half has suddenly, it's somebody put something in the tea. Have they all gone paranoid or something? It was
Just a lack of confidence, isn't it? I think.
First half they were a rock and Arsenal were just breaking down on us. Second half, it's like every time they get the ball in our half, I'm going like that. Yeah.
It seems to be. It's a lack of backbone.
Lack of backbone, lack of confidence.
Yeah.
A skipper that wants out the door. It's. I wonder. Just it's one of those things, isn't it? Where Rice is our best player, and we're going to miss it. I wonder what effect mentally that he's going to have on the team, knowing that we've got some bloke here who's our best player and captain, who's gone on record when he was playing for at the World Cup, saying he wants to go and win trophies, etc., etc. In other words, reading between the lines, I don't buy all this rubbish. What else is he going to say? Because he could quite easily say in an England interview, "I'm here to talk about England, not about the club football." But he chose not to. And any decent skipper would do that. And that's the thing with Declan Rice. He's a great player, but he ain't a good skipper. And what effect is that having on the dressing room? That a bloke that he's always in the highlights reels and stuff like that on the social medias and whatever, basically saying he wants out of the club. Get rid of him. Get someone else in. Be a skipper. I know that's not going to go down. It's going to go down like a bucket of sick. But I'm kind of getting a bit sick of him, to be honest. Get rid. Go. If you want to go, mate, off you go. 80 million there. See you later. Tumbleweed.
There you go. No, it's it's good.
Sorry, I was just looking at Arsenal being given a corner, which clearly came off the Arsenal player. Even the Arsenal player started jogging back for the goal kick and had to turn around when the corner was given. So that another winner for Oliver, and a couple of big decisions which he got right. Fair enough. One with the assistance of TV, of course, but he's having a bit of a mare.
We're into the final 4 minutes. West Ham are going to need some kind of minor miracle now to get anything out of this game. There you go, Nick. Divan Mubama is on the pitch. 86 minutes. He's coming on quite early tonight. But he's on the pitch to get a taste of Premier League football. I didn't see who came. Was it Antonio replaced? Yeah, I think he is. But the youngster who's been on fire for the 21s in recent weeks, he's on the field now to see if he can do something to get West Ham back into it. And there was a chance there. Ben Rama had a chance to nip the ball away from the defender and would have been dangerous, but lost out, unfortunately.
See, right at the end of the game, why? Just why? I did call it. I'm not proud to have called it, but it's just so predictable. And if we can predict this, right, what our manager's going to do? It's quite blatant that the opposition managers can do that. We're sus. He's lost the plot, isn't he? Moyes has lost the plot. Nice having a rant though. It's surprising.
Well, the game appears to have stopped for an Arsenal loving. I'm not quite sure what's going on at the moment, but Fabio Vieira's on for Martinelli.
There we go.
It will be eventually when they've cuddled each other.
Desperation. Go to Chelsea, mate. Bugger off. Let's just start life without you. Moyes can join you.
And this is, of course, going to be the first home win of the day. Not a single home win in the Premier League today until this one, and assuming West Ham don't make some kind of miraculous comeback, which certainly doesn't look like happening right now.
Ballon Dawson's called it. It's another thing I forgot to put in my rant about Rice. What give him the captaincy when he refused several contract offers?
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's a questionable decision, I think, in the first place.
It's to people say like, "Oh, we ain't pandering to Rice." Rubbish. We are pandering to Rice. Get rid. Not because he's a bad player, but just move on now.
Just seen a bit of magic from side Ben Rama out on the touch. Now he's into the box again. What's he going to do?
Sky.
And we've got a corner this time.
Oh well.
We've just win a corner. Arsenal complaining, saying it should have been a goal kick.
Oh
Let's have
well.
a
Of course they were.
Oh, we're not going to see it. Anyway, Pablo Fornals is going to take it from the West Ham's left. And Declan Rice is over his head, and Arsenal get it clear as far as Ben Rama. What's he going to do now? Oh, plays it back. West Ham need a miracle. 89 minutes gone. Alun in the box. Declan Rice to Paqueta, who tries to curl one. And it's well wide and high. And it sums up Paqueta's career. I think that's kind of, Paqueta's career at West Ham so far in a brief fleeting moment, a microcosm, if you will. High and wide, missed the target. 90th minute. West Ham losing 3-1.
Weren't the snow nice a couple of weeks ago, eh? It's cracking. Very Christmassy. One of those things where it was so quiet out, you could hear old people's hips cracking in the distance.
That was mine, you sod.
You get those things, those little Facebook things every now and again that come up. Those did you knows? There was one about the snow actually, and it explained why everything sounds quieter when there's snow on the ground. And it's something to do with the sound being absorbed by the snow, and the fact because it's not condensed, it absorbs sound. Hence why it sounds quiet.
It's a lovely noise, isn't it, when it's slow on the ground?
It is. It's quite unique, quite different.
No, nothing much happening in the game, you'll gather, people.
anything to talk about, anything bar the football at the moment. We've got 4 minutes added on, we can tell you that. And the
DL joke of the evening is I went to Mass on Christmas Eve. I said to him, "This is a lovely church, Vicar." He went, "It's Norman." I went, "Sorry, this is a lovely church, Norman."
Do you know, suddenly West Ham's performance wasn't the worst thing I've seen this season.
I ain't got my clothes off yet, mate. Don't worry.
Last 3 minutes.
I've had my bag flapping away and everything.
Mum, help.
But around making yellow snow.
Searching for
Cody Gakpo signed for Liverpool.
Who?
That Dutch bloke, Cody Gakpo.
signed for Liverpool.
Yes, I've just been passed the phone with that on.
More good news.
Because they're short of a few strikers.
Yeah, looked good, didn't he, at the World Cup? Looked very useful. I was watching a bit of their game today, actually, and I was watching the lad we tried to sign, the Portuguese fella. What's his name? Plays up front, Liverpool striker, tall bloke. Nunes.
Andy Carroll.
Absolute. Actually, do you know what, Nick? That's not a bad. Suggestion. He looked very Andy Carroll-like. Every time he got the ball and had a shot, he either missed or put it straight in the keeper's hands. Absolute shocker. And the TV, the Amazon TV team gave him. It was Andy Townsend, I think, gave him man of the match because he was a trier.
The crowds
tried your best.
Just to shit Andy Carroll.
It was bloody awful. And bearing in mind we were looking to pay 50 million or whatever it was for him. Yeah,
I miss Andy Carroll.
You miss him?
I'd give me right arm for him at the minute. Problem is, so would he.
And we got enough people in the treatment room.
No, to be fair though, he was very, very good in our last season at the Bowling. It was. That was the Andy Carroll that we signed. It's just a shame we only really got one proper decent season out of him. But him linking up with Payet and the relationship that he had with Nobes as well that season, he was mint, as the Geordies would say.
And you would never see him hiding. You always see him giving
No.
100%. And I can't say that about Hartley's team at the minute. Oh,
How far have we fallen that we're reminiscing over Andy, I like the beer and get pissed, Carol?
Yeah, that's pretty low.
that was
I'll tell
another
you what, that's a good save though from
Yeah.
Ramsdale there from full house.
Yeah, it's going in, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going in, definitely going in. So
Do you know when Carroll had that random ankle injury, the impact on his heel when he was out for yonks? Turned out that he was pissed and missed the curb as he stepped off it. He didn't realise the curb was there, and he buggered his ankle and his heel.
I've done that when sober.
Well, you done that last time we was on.
On video.
If you keep on,
Yeah.
if you keep on, we will do the James. We will put the James Brown on.
I just got to point out there was a great moment in the game just then. We often talk about the referee being the 12th man for Arsenal. He literally was the 12th man just there because Aaron Cresswell's gone to win a loose ball that's coming out the box, and Michael Arnott was just stood in his way and prevented him from getting to the ball. And Cresswell's apoplectic about it, but unbelievable stuff. Yeah, I mean, hopefully you fully recovered, G, from that particular little incident that we witnessed.
Well, you know, the sound of hips cracking and stuff like that in the snow. And yeah. I mean, I was just shaken up at the time. It was, but it was, considering that this is our sort of flagship stadium, oh, that's the final whistle, and all that, the footpaths around it are in terrible condition. I mean, joking apart, you know, it's. In fact, they're not going to fill that one in. They're just going to use it to build a new tube line.
Well, glad to see that all's well that ends well. Anyway,
Yeah.
what hasn't ended well is this particular match at the Emirates. It's finished Arsenal 3, West Ham United 1. West Ham 1-0 up at half-time through a Said Benrahma penalty, and then goals in the 53rd minute from Saka, 58th minute Martinelli, and the 68th minute from Ketia. West Ham have started the second half of the season just as badly as they ended the first, and David Moyes is going to be in for a torrid time, I would imagine, over the next few days, and there'll be lots of questions asked. What do we? Let's just sum up what we've seen this evening. We're not going to prolong the agony for tonight, I don't think. Noam, let's come to you first. Arsenal 3, West Ham 1. Summarise that for us, please, if you will.
Good first half, strong, proper, resolute defence. They got a goal early in the second half. Strong, resolute defence turned into wet cardboard. And as ever, once we've gone behind, we've got no plan B. We've got no alternative, nothing really. And the strong, resolute defence was even a more distant memory for the other two goals. You know, you can't give goals away, not in the Premier League, and that's what we're doing.
Pretty accurate, I'd say. Nick, just fell apart, didn't we? 15 minutes in the second half.
Yes.
Cost us the game. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not buying this. Oh, this is a team that's 7 points now, 7 points top of the league. Because to be honest, they didn't play well.
Good.
We handed it to them on a plate. We tickled their tummies. It's like I did with my little pussycat earlier on when he jumped up at me. And to make things worse as well, on the telly they just showed an Arsenal fan with one of those signs about giving you shirts, and I wanted to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
That kind of just sums it all up, really. We were useless. The manager was useless. The players were useless. And Arsenal didn't have to get out of second gear. If they had played us off the park and beat us 3-1, like we do when we sometimes play against, you know, teams that are considerably better, but they didn't. They didn't play us off the park. It was Christmas and we gave them 2 presents.
Rio, coming to you finally for your assessment of what you've seen this evening.
As I said earlier, before the game started, I wasn't hopeful. And I don't think many people from the West Ham fan base would have been hopeful. we kind of knew this result was in the locker. It was coming up. But it's the manner that we're conceding and we're losing games. There seems to be no backbone. There seems to be no kind of gumption for any of the players. As soon as we make one error, concede one goal, we haven't got a leader to grasp the players and get them kind of focused and galvanised. We're lacking a spine. You said we're lacking the spine of key players, Aguirre, Zuma and that. We're just lacking a spine. We've got no backbone in this team. And it seemed to be the last 6 weeks, the only thing we've been working on is out of wrap presence because we've been gifting more and more stuff away. You know, it's just, it's not acceptable. You know? Maybe we've been spoiled over the last 2 seasons. Maybe we've got ahead of ourselves a little bit. But professional footballers, augmented by expensive buyers, shouldn't be making schoolboy errors. And that's all we're doing at the moment, is making schoolboy after schoolboy error. And we're digging our own kind of a hole. And it's hard to see how we're going to get it because we're in the...
And it'll be me that falls down it.
Yeah. On the plus side, I think if we ever develop moderator kind of theme music, I think no one's got Doris Day's Hip Crack Away sewn up.
Much has been made, chaps, on social media on the KUMB forum of Lucas Paqueta running straight down the tunnel at the final whistle without even going over to thank the fans or shaking hands with David Moyes or anything. What do we need to do to get him to play Gnome in this team? He's not been at the races at all. Yeah, we know he can play. We've seen it at Lyon and we certainly saw it at the World Cup, but just not being able to recreate that form at West Ham. How do we get over that? Or you know, dare I say it, do we drop him for a bit?
Yeah, I mean, we seem to have one of these players who's in because of his status, his fee, perhaps, and all that. I think we need to go back to the basics that were serving us well in the past. So, pick those players, pick the players that we had and go back to what we were doing well. You know, we've got all these new players in; they're not settling in, and go back to what we had. Get the basics out of the way, sort that out, and then sort of steady the ship a bit because when you bring in a lot of new players, it's always going to take a while to bed in. But if they're not bedding in, then you know you've got to have some sort of plan B, even if you're on plan B and it's plan A revisited.
I don't even think he's got plan B in his CD collection.
Yeah. Oh, very good, very good.
Just gone up in my estimation then.
The end result of just looking at the XG score. Can I quick look at the stats? Main match stats: Arsenal 67% possession to West Ham's 33, 16 shots to Arsenal, 5 on target, 8 shots by West Ham, 4 on target. 7 corners to Arsenal, 5 for West Ham, 13 fouls committed by Arsenal, 17 by West Ham. XG stat: Arsenal 2.06, West Ham 1.05. So even by that statistic, Gnome's favourite, as we often say, West Ham should have been comfortably beaten. Rio, that leaves West Ham 1 point above the drop zone. And I think the worrying thing for me is that looking at it, that you normally see a couple of teams that were promoted lingering in the bottom 3 and maybe at least one of them looking adrift at, by this or semi-adrift at this stage of the season. You Forest are in there, and I think we all predicted at the start of the season they're likely to go straight back down. You've got Wolves between us and the bottom of the table. You've got Everton, Wolves and Southampton. These are teams they're quite used to, as recently as last season, Everton, Wolves and Southampton have certainly faced relegation battles in the past. Leeds are above us. They, of course, got out of it last year. You're looking at teams there that have got some kind of pedigree in terms of relegation battles. If it is going to go down to that, is that a worry that, we're not, at least the players we've got at the club at the moment have not really got any great experience of relegation battles, and perhaps that might go against us?
That's an option, but with the quality of player that we do have, because they have got good pedigree, they have got good quality, they have got great ability. But it's just like we seem like a bit of a mismatch. We've thrown all these people together, and none of them seem to know what they're doing, why they're doing it. There seems to be no answers. And the usual faces, the incumbents from previous seasons, look like if they had their nose put out of joint by the influx of new players, and it might be their place under threat. Some look a little bit complacent because they're certainly not putting the shift in they used to. They're certainly not getting the results they used to.
Mm.
So I know it's the festive period, but to kind of paraphrase Moyes and Moyes, we've got all the right players, but not necessarily in the right possessions or the right order. Right? You just don't know what to turn. Lucas Fabianski, been a great servant since us, but we've got like the French reserve keeper on the bench, spent quite a bit of money on him for a keeper. And he must be sitting there thinking, how many more times I've got to see that kind of error before I actually get a crack?
Yeah.
It's all kinds of things. Like there's rumours about Soufal leaving, yet he starts tonight. There's rumours that Dawson wants out, yet he's starting tonight. I know we're short of numbers in the defence at times.
Yeah.
But now we bought Kehrer, but that seemed by accident because we were so short of numbers. There's a lot of things that just aren't adding up.
Yes, certainly is. And also, I'm looking at carrying on with that thing. I'm looking at the table. I guess the one thing, if you know, I don't even really want to be sitting here talking about a relegation battle, but I think we've all got to admit that that's where we are right now. But
100%.
You know, you're
I mean, yet again on the forum, you've got Ironing Ball saying, "Oh yeah, we've got our first choice defence out injured and stuff like that." Don't wash with me. We until today 4th best defensive record in the league.
Mm.
The problems at the other end of the pitch, the problems in the middle of the pitch, and we are, make no bones about it. I called it second game of the season. It had that vibe, and we're now approaching the halfway point. One point above the. Well, it's not, is it? It's 1 goal above the relegation zone now, isn't it?
Well, a point, yeah. Wolves are 13 points. We're 14 points. But you know what I was going to say there, Nick, is that you know if we are in a relegation, but you're looking at the goal difference and the goals against. I mean, we're still bizarrely we've lost 10 games out of 16 so far this season. We're still only -7 goal difference, which isn't so bad. And you know, you look at the teams around us. Forest have shipped 30 goals, Southampton 30, Wolves 25. Leeds 26, Bournemouth 32, Leicester 28. We've only conceded 20 goals. But of course, as you all know, if you can't score goals, you can't win football games. And we've only scored 13 goals this season. Only Everton, Wolves and Forest have scored fewer goals than us. 13 goals in 16 games. No, that's it's not even paltry, or I don't know what you'd call that. It's just desperate, I think.
It's not good enough, and we said there's no sort of creativity out there. I've gone over there. No creativity, no guile, no. You know, when Antonio gets on the ball, your first thought is he going to hit it wide or straight at the goalkeeper? You're thinking, how is he going to miss? Not how is he going to score? Skamaka is a useful player. He's shown little touches in patches, but you know we're not playing. You know, again, it's not working there, and you know that'll only get you. You know, your strong defence will only get you so far, and when your strong defence caves in as well, you get nothing. And as I said once, we relied on the strong defence, which did marvellously well in the first half, but second half, we go behind. Well, what are we going to do to change this situation? And from what I could see, we just did exactly the same as what we've been doing all the rest of the game, which, no, I mean, I'm not a football manager. Moyes is getting paid the big money to deal with this. Substitutions came very, very late. And it was pretty much rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. I mean, when Moamba came on with 4 minutes to go, well, you know, I'm looking forward to somebody saying, "Well, they said bring the kids on, and look what happened." You know, like, well, yeah. What did you expect for 4 minutes? You know, game gone.
Where are you now, Gnome? We're talking, you know, let's bring it down to the baseline. Are you Moyes in or Moyes out right now?
He's got to stay at the moment because I don't think there's anyone around that we could have to replace him. I mean, we are in a relegation battle. I think we got enough to get out of it, but
I don't.
I'm well, in comparison with other teams. I think Southampton are sort of looking very poor, and ditto Everton, and they're what we got there. So I don't think Forest will stay up. Yeah, they've had a little bit of a flurry in recent weeks, but what have we got here? So Forest play. Who are they playing? Must have Chelsea, mustn't they? Chelsea haven't played this week yet.
Forest have got a game in hand over us.
Yeah, I think they're playing Chelsea.
What is their game in hand?
I think they're playing Chelsea sometime this week. I think it's that
right.
week,
Okay.
I may be wrong there, but I thought I saw that pop up in games to come. I mean, if Forest were to win, we'd be one spot above the trapdoor. But you know, Moyes needs to have a think about, you know, like, oh, it's 66 minutes. It's about now make my substitution. Not it's 50 minutes or it's 45 minutes. Something needs to change. I'll make it now, or even 20 minutes. What was it? I saw a game of the World Cup, weren't we? Where two players were hooked, and it worked. And that might have been France, wasn't it? Hooked a couple of players and changed the game totally. Now, you know, that would never happen at the moment, as far as I can see. I don't see there's anyone better around at the moment, Moyes. But yeah, I think we need to look at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the irony of the situation is that, you know, you're talking about managers who are capable of coming in and keeping West Ham up. We've got someone at the helm who's already done it, right? So it's you know, if you look at that,
can I just change the subject totally and be the first person you've seen for ages eating a piece of Easter egg?
Wow, that's.
I mean, my mum's brought that in. It was one of Dad's. So
I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it's still in date actually, because they don't last long, do they? Those Easter eggs. So don't eat too much, just in case you get a bit of a dicky belly.
In case I fall down
the Gregory.
Yeah. It's been out the back in the cold, but
Rio, Moyes in, Moyes out right now.
Oh, I'm glad to go out. Our league form in the last 12 months has been woeful. The European one papered over a lot of cracks.
Okay.
There's a couple of things I wanted to kind of add. Is this West Ham just being West Ham? Every time we're on the cusp of something really special, the aftermath of the FA Cup final in Cardiff, we went out and spent money on a certain couple of Argentinian players, and what happened? Relegation battle. The year we moved after the last year at the Bowling, which was one of the best seasons ever, we spent a lot of money and we imploded. So is it West Ham just being West Ham imploding? Is there something in our DNA which is inherently garbage? And another thing, I just looked at our 10 record signings. The most expensive player we've ever bought, Sebastian Haller. David Moyes come in. Didn't we know how to utilise him? He certainly didn't fit Moyes' ethos. And he moved on. But he didn't move on to like a rubbish club. He went to Ajax, went to Borussia Dortmund. Second most expensive player we got, Lucas Paqueta. David Moyes buy. He doesn't seem to know how to utilise him properly at the moment. Felipe Anderson, great player for a season, dropped off a cliff. Fourth most expensive, Gianluca Scamacca. David Moyes signing. Doesn't know how to get the best out of it. Fifth most expensive, Kurt Zuma. You know, great first season, He's been poor this year. I know he's been carrying a bit of a knock, but he's still got the shadow of the player he was last year. Then you go on to Aguirre. You can't judge him. He looks fantastic for Morocco. Nikola Vasic, 7th most expensive player we bought. David Moyes signing, worked with him previously at Everton. Why? Why did we buy him? He clearly had no kind of grasp of the way that he played. If he didn't think he was quick enough for the Premier League, why bring him and work with him again?
Yeah.
Then you
So
look at
just to-
Pablo Fornals.
Okay. Sorry, I think you finished.
It's a Diop who we got rid of, and then Andre Ayew. All of them players, every time another club makes a big money signing, they're the foundation, they're the fulcrum for change and progression. Them 10 players I just named, apart from Pablo Fornals, have we got really good value out of them? I certainly don't think we have.
And just to clarify, are you attributing this to Moyes, those players, or are you just saying it's a West Ham thing?
I think it's a West Ham kind of thing.
Yeah.
Four or five of those players are Moyes signings.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to utilise them, why the hell are you spending incredibly large sums of money, which we traditionally haven't really had? Because they're not augmenting the squad, they're not improving the squad, they're causing disruption, they're causing confusion. You know, have a plan in mind. I know
Square pegs in round holes.
Yeah, exactly. Is this if you buying, spending big money on players just because they are big money players?
Yeah.
You haven't got a plan in mind and how to utilise them. I'd rather you go out and buy someone like you did with Jarrod Bowen, right? From the lower leagues, right? You spent a fair bit on him, but you bought him from the lower leagues with a plan in mind, how to utilise him. He's improved him as a player. He gives 100%. Do then players that I mentioned in their list ever give 100% West Ham? I certainly don't think it does look like it. The ones we got left at our disposal.
Okay.
Just issue a correction there. I've just checked, and Forest are away at Man United tomorrow night, and Chelsea are at home at Bournemouth. So, yeah, I'd forgotten about Man United and Bournemouth being the other two teams that don't seem to have played so far today. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're 1-1 on the Moyes out situation. And Nick, I think I know where you're going to come from, but let's offer you the
What I
opportunity
did, say you.
to add your piece.
No, look, I said at the start, I don't think there's any point changing now, because we had the chance before
That's
World
my
Cup,
point, yeah.
because of, you know, we only had, 5 players away. There's still another 20 players he could have got a system with. And, you know, the players that are away are international players and they're not thick. So, you know, they could quite easily be told their role in the 10 days since they've been back. So we've still had time, really, to change. Nothing has changed, though. Literally nothing has changed. We've had an all right first half, but let's be fair. We were no great shakes in that first half either. What was it? 29, 70 odd %. Which is that's atrocious. 200 something passes to 89. Atrocious. Don't care who the opposition is, whether it's Barcelona in their prime. You know, a team like West Ham that's got aspirations for Europe with a £300 million squad is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. And the buck stops with the manager because he's the one that's telling the coaches how to train them. The players are the ones that are carrying out his instructions, and they don't seem to have a clue. They look lost out there. And we know that the players that we've got on that pitch are better than the way they're performing. So something is drastically wrong with this club. And I don't buy the fact with Stuart Pearce, because I've been told by reputable people that he weren't exactly popular with the players anyway. He was kind of a T-boy. So I don't see his influence too much, as his loss of influence too much. Mark Nobles, yeah. I'll give you that. His influence in the dressing room. But what's he going to do when he's wearing a shirt and tie? Because I've read on the forum people saying, oh, Noble's back in January, maybe things will start changing then, blah, blah, blah. He's in an office now. He's not going to be sitting on the bench, I wouldn't have thought. If he does, then that says volumes about what the club think of our manager. We've got a January transfer window coming up. As I said before, he's appointed a captain that doesn't want to be here, that's refusing to commit to the club. What message does that send out to the players? If he ain't going to commit to the club, get rid. It's as simple as that. Because he could be. I'm not saying that he's a disruption in the dressing room, but once you've got your best player refusing to commit to the club, what does that say to the other players? Well, if our captain can't be asked to commit, why should we run our bollocks off? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sell him in January for 80 million, 75, 80 million pounds, because he's not this 100 million pound player that we think that a lot of people seem to think he is. If they're using Harry Maguire as a barometer for 80 million, well, you know, Man U made a mistake on that, just like Liverpool made a mistake paying 35 million pound for Andy Carroll. You know, sometimes there are anomalies in the transfer market and they can't be used as a yardstick.
Yeah.
Sell Declan Rice in January. Use the money to strengthen the team. No, he is irreplaceable. I get that. But for the sum of its parts, with some good business, we can improve the team by losing one good player. But look at the summer window. You would have thought the players we've signed, we wouldn't be 1 point above the relegation zone on Boxing Day. And it's an absolute disgrace that we are.
Okay. So I think we're safe to say you're in the Moyes out camp from
Yeah.
and the captain as well, of course. Going for the pulse. I've got a little graphic to show you, gentlemen, while before we wrap up. As you can see there, that is a picture of the attacking threat as produced by Oracle on tonight's game, and you can see West Ham barely proved to be the more offered the greater threat at any point during the game, maybe in the first couple of minutes and between the 10th and 15th minute and kind of just before we scored. But you know, I mean, look at that, it's desperate, isn't it? You know, it just gives you some indication of how one-sided it looks in terms of which team looked more likely to score during the game. But anyway, I'm still Moyesing. But I've got to say this, and I have been unwavering until now. Absolutely, never questioned it. I've seen us collapse there tonight, and that's one thing I've never seen under Moyes. We've never had a soft underbelly under David Moyes, and we were quite. I think a season or so ago, we were quite proud, weren't we, of the fact that we went nearly a year without conceding more than one goal in a game. Tonight, we've conceded 3 goals in 15 minutes. Tonight, we've conceded 3 goals that were due to individual errors. That indicates to me that we have a team that's lacking in confidence, a team that, well, certainly can't score goals. And if tonight is anything to go by, we can't stop conceding goals either. And in terms of the future, that doesn't bode well for me. I think Friday is going to be a huge. I mean, you know, the people said this about tonight. I don't think tonight was a huge game because Arsenal are playing some good football at the moment. I know 1 or 2 of you don't feel that they're the best team in the league, but you know, the fact they're 7 points clear or whatever the stat is right now says they're there by merit. But I think the real test comes on Friday. Brentford are a decent side. They're playing okay. I think if we lose that one, I might be moving over to the dark side. Because if you can't beat Brentford, teams, with the greatest respect to Brentford, no disrespect intended at all, if we can't beat teams like Brentford, then you've got to be asking yourself, do we deserve to stay in the Premier League? It's a big game. It's a big game. So I'm siding with Gnome for now, but I'm kind of shifting over this way a little bit in between you two guys. So time will tell. Who wants to wrap up? Who wants the final say tonight? Anyone?
I was going to ask to wrap up shortly on the grounds that I'd like to go and join me mum.
Okay.
Over this Yuletide thing, and I might have a glass of port being the season and all that. But
Another West Ham.
What's that, sorry, mate?
You're another West Ham man who wants out. You're a Declan Rice.
Okay. Well,
not on his money. But listen, anyway, I want to just say a couple of things. Brentford is going to be a hell of a game. They were okay first half. Second half, they were a bit like us today. It was, we're 2-0 up, job's done. and once Tottenham actually pulled one back, they just went to pieces. So they're not infallible. I'm not sure what the odds are on a victory. Perhaps we should ask Ivan Toney that one. But it is a big one. I will be there, so I'll be. If you're doing one of these Friday night after the game, I'll be falling down a hole near you somewhere. So, but in the meantime, rubbish though it was this evening, just goodwill and peace on earth to all men except Tottenham supporters.
Yeah, and Arteta, I can't stand him. He pulls my rope more than anyone else at the moment. I've got to say, it's can't stand the guy.
Euphemism for something.
All right, okay, we're going to wrap up there. Thank you to everybody for joining us on the live stream. Appreciate your company, your comments as always. If you haven't, you've got a few seconds to give us one of those.
Yeah, please.
I think we haven't done it tonight, mate. Wait.
Give us a Matt Jarvis.
Give us a Matty Jarvis. Get those thumbs up quickly. It's just down there. You've got a few seconds to do it. My thanks to Noam, to Rio, and to Nick for their excellent company on a thoroughly disappointing night for West Ham. We will be back on Friday for the Brentford game. Could it be do or die for David Moyes? We'll find out soon enough. We're all off to watch a rerun of Coronation Street anyway and find out what's going on in the
I'm going to watch videos of me pulling my fingernails out because they will be much more pleasurable than what I've just watched.
Take care of yourselves, everyone. We'll see you again very soon. Until then, come on, you Irons.
Bye.
Not doing it.
Really do.
No, I think it's been amazing this season. I think there's that real unity and connection with the fans.
All right, come on,
Ready
you
in a
Irons.
minute. I'm pressing the wrong button. There we go.